Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. Sometimes I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. Sometimes I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Let Jesus work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Oh, work it out. You work it out for Mother Lisa. Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. Sometimes I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. Sometimes I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Let Jesus work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Oh, work it out. You work it out for Mother Lisa.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. David Patrick Harry with Church of the Eternal Logos, and today we have a fun, sad at points, but very interesting drama alert today. My favorite part that I can't wait to get into it with you guys is showing you my new favorite AI edits of Trump and Maduro. I don't know if you guys have been following some of these, but they are absolutely hysterical. The famous Childish Gambino "This Is America" song, that was kind of going viral. So we're going to be looking at that. But I got tons of stuff, everything from Ukraine and what we now know is CIA involvement in the attempted drone bombing of Putin's home. We have the new declared AI capital of the world being Jerusalem, which totally falls right into step with everything we've talked about concerning Antichrist, Orthodox eschatology, the Greater Israel Project, all that different stuff. We got a little section looking at some of the new AI edits regarding Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. And we also, I'm going to be playing a video to balance it out, a video that demonstrates many of the changing narratives from Candace Owens. And, much of the debate right now, if you got to be a Zionist if you hate the Muslims, and it's like, well, can we be against Zionism and Israel and Jewish control of America and also not like people that like to fornicate with goats? Can we do both of those things? But everybody tries to get you in a dialectic, and the same thing's true with this Charlie Kirk stuff. The investigation, Kash Patel, the FBI, Dan Bongino fallout, all these things can be true. And Candace Owens can also be full of shit. I don't know why it's so difficult for people to hold two things at once in their head. But, Aristotle used to say that was the evidence of essentially an unintelligent person. Intelligence is being able to hold two contrary ideas together without being pulled to one dialectic or another. So, So anyways, it's going to be a fun one. A major shout out to my sister, my friend, author, debater, Rachel Wilson. Shout out to the Wilsons, you, Andrew, and the family. Hope you guys are doing well down in Texas. God bless you, sister. Major thank you to Average Redhead for gifting a Codal Crew membership. And Rough Hands, 33 months. Am I one of the Masons now? Yeah, you and Rachel have been members for 33 months. I think both of you. Are you guys been initiated? Was it the Scottish Rite? And then Boogie Whistle just threw in 10. Thank you so much, Boogie Whistle, for the support. Do appreciate it. And Snagglebee says, God bless Dr. DPH. I've been telling all Orthosphere that God willing, I will be received on the 24th. Well, glory to God, Snagglebees. That's great. And I want to remind everybody in regards to our super chat goal, if we reach 50 super chats by the end of today's stream, the chat will be able to choose a sponsored stream topic. Essentially, I'm giving the chat the opportunity to pay for a sponsored stream. And so if you appreciate the work, if you're enjoying today's stream, if you would like to support and have a little voice in what the next sponsored stream topic is, I got a couple lined up right now. The next one's actually going to be on Helena Blavatsky, and we're going to be diving into theosophy. So that's on the schedule as of right now. But if we reach the 50 super chat goal, I'm going to ask the chat here what topics you guys are interested in, then do a poll of like 4 or 5 different topics and see what you guys decide on. So that is the reward if you so graciously aid me in acquiring my super chat goal for the day. So thank you very much. Tanner throws in 10, says, can you say happy birthday to my fiance Taylor? We are both catechumens. God bless. Well, happy birthday and many years to you, Taylor. Don't know how old you are, but hopefully 2026 is going to be one of the best years of your life. At least that's the declaration of us guys made over in the Logos Academy earlier last week. Actually earlier this week. Gosh, I'm blanking on time. So happy birthday to you, Taylor. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope God continues to bless you and your fiance, and welcome to the church. Welcome home. Hopefully you guys are going to be received here soon and be able to commune with the true God. So thank you so much for that. Okay, we're not going to be beating around the bush very long. I want to get straight into today's drama alert, because we got once you see all the tabs I have, you'll see why. So much to go through. So many different topics, too. Thank you so much. Rachel sends in $20 for the goal. Thank you so much, Rachel. God bless you, sister. Really appreciate all your support over the years. I don't know if you're available. I'm always interested in doing another stream together if you're available. I know you and Andrew have been quite busy, but hope you guys had a blessed Christmas and a happy New Year. So first thing, when we do these drama alerts, I have so much bad news. And, there is going to be a lot of bad news in today's stream. We're going to be looking at Somali fraud. We're going to be looking at Muslim violence in Dearborn. We're going to be looking at all types of stuff. But today, I wanted to start off with something wholesome. And this video came across my feed. It was kind of going viral. I had 6 million views over on X. And what this is, and it's just a little bit reminder, and maybe this is also good for everyone in the chat, everyone watching this stream now and in the future for the year 2026, is to be appreciative of the time we have. I know for me and myself, and I think it might be the case generally with men, is that you set goals for yourself and you're constantly working towards them. And you always have this feeling like things will be better, life will get better, the stress will alleviate once you achieve your goals. Of course, that's never the case. But this video is of an 80-year-old woman who is obviously approaching the end of her life, and she wrote a letter about a sort of fantasy she had of being able to go back and spend one day of her life as a 32-year-old mother. And so I share this today as something to just be mindful that we need to enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey of life wherever you are. If you're struggling, we're all struggling in certain ways. No matter, some people aren't struggling financially, but they struggle in other ways. Many of us, financial, finding a home, building a family, whatever it may be. But struggles come in many forms, and all of us are struggling. That's the whole point of being an Orthodox Christian, is that you find a community and we struggle together, just as Christ did. So I want to play this first one for you guys, and this is more of a wholesome little clip, and I want it to remind us to appreciate the journey. And of course, 2026 just started, so appreciating that journey as well.
My 32-year-old body. I'm 80 years old, and somehow I woke up in my 32-year-old body just for one day. I wake up to little hands tugging at the blankets. "Mum, wake up," they shout. I blink and I sit up slowly. My babies, they're small again. They climb into bed, giggling, wiggling. I remember rushing through mornings, but not today. I pull them close, I hug them tight. I kiss their messy hair, I hold their little hands. This time, I soak in every second. I catch my reflection in the bathroom mirror. No deep lines, no grey hair, my younger face. I used to think I looked old at 41. What a silly thought. I find my husband in the kitchen making coffee. He looks strong and he looks young. I wrap my arms around him tightly. He looks surprised. Maybe we didn't hug enough back then, I think. We talk about the day, and today it all feels big. I memorize the sound of his voice. We pile into the car, kids arguing over seatbelts. Someone drops a snack, there's crumbs everywhere. I used to get so frustrated, but today I soak in the noise and the chaos because I know my car will be quiet and spotless for many years to come. Dinner is loud and unorganized. No one wants to sit still. There's shouting, giggling, arguing, and so much life. I don't clean up straight away. I just sit and I watch, trying to burn it all into my memory. Before bed, I pick up the phone. I call my mum and I hear her voice. I haven't heard this voice in so many years. I close my eyes and I let her words wash over me. I tell her I love her again and again. I never want to hang up. And this time, I don't leave anything unsaid. At bedtime, I don't skip pages in the story. I read every single word. And then I ask, can we read one more book? And they say yes. I don't want this day to end. I got one more day. And this time, I knew that this was joy, this was love, those little hands, our strong young bodies with no aches or pains, our parents who are still alive. It all mattered so much more than we ever realized at the time.
So remember to enjoy the journey. I think that's just a good little reminder, a little wholesome video to start off today's stream. And we're going to be also following that up with some positive news. Positive news. So the first thing is I want to show you guys all my Eastern Old Calendar Christian brothers and sisters. Christ is born. Of course, I'm Antiochian, so we celebrated Western Christmas, the Revised Julian. But for everybody who's on the old calendar, Christ is born. Merry Christmas to you guys. They just celebrated 2 days ago on January 7th. And so just to build up some of that warrior Orthodox spirit before we tackle all the degen and all the negative news cycle, I want to share this little edit with you guys and inspire the faithful. This is the military cathedral in Russia. So this cathedral here is actually dedicated to the Russian military. And as you go through, at least if you're a man, just reflect of how nice it would be to actually live in a country that was this explicit in their Orthodox identity, where they have a whole cathedral just dedicated for soldiers. Anyways, just a little Orthodox content there to inspire the faithful. Beautiful service there. And here's a little follow-up. So we recently got, this was just from a few weeks ago, this is Patriarch Theophilos III, the Patriarch of Jerusalem, talking about the scourge of Christian Zionism. Of course, you're not hearing this out of the Vatican. Pope Leo, although he did today condemn the censorship that's occurring in Europe, not exactly the hardliner that most people were hoping him to be after Pope Francis, but within the Orthodox Church, whether it be the Antiochians, our Metropolitan Saba here in the United States, but Patriarch John, very aware of some of the lies, deceit, and problems with Zionism. Here is the Patriarch of Jerusalem talking about it being a scourge and a misuse of the Christian faith.
Christian Zionism. It is a misusing of the Christian Holy Scripture for political purposes. The existential threat to the Christian presence is real and deepening, and we continue to face violations and infringements of the right of free access to the holy places. Christian Zionism. It is a misusing of the Christian Holy Scripture for political purposes. Christians in the Holy Land are watching with great concern the erosion of the historic status quo and the alarming infringements by radical groups at Al-Aqsa Mosque. We deny these violations. Any threat to Muslim holy places is a threat against our churches and Christian holy places.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Israel has actually been confiscating land from the Patriarchate in Jerusalem and some of our Holy Land. And if you didn't know, of course, all these unwanted settlers in the West Bank, many of which are, interestingly, New York Jews, are moving to places like Nazareth, Bethlehem, and essentially been taking things over. There was a video that went viral probably a couple months ago of them literally bulldozing and destroying a Christian man's business there in the West Bank. And, of course, all these Jews flooding in and taking the land. So just wanted to bring that up. This is another cool thing, is that there's construction underway in Armenia for one of the largest statues of Jesus Christ ever created. The goal is for it to be the largest. Very warmly welcome, considering if the Hindus continue with what they're doing, they were going to build the largest religious statue in America, was going to be in Texas, of, I think, Hanuman, their monkey god, sort of a half-man, half-monkey deity. And then last I heard when I checked up on the story is they planned on constructing it in South Carolina. So hopefully they shut it down. There was so much outrage in Texas that they ended up shutting it down. But it's great to see that Christians in other parts of the world, in Armenia, for example, are building the largest structure, at least hopefully in the world, largest statue of Jesus Christ. So glory to God for that. And then this I thought was very interesting. I wanted to share with you is that this was a video that I saw all over the place. It's not necessarily brand new, but just a reminder for all those Christians. This is a video describing evidence that, again, not brand new, but somewhat recently found of Josephus, the Jewish historian under the Roman Empire, actually detailing that Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, was a real historical person, was a known teacher, was crucified under Roman authority, and his followers continued to follow him after death, and that he was some type of extraordinary figure. Now, of course, Josephus was not Christian. He did not convert to Christianity. He was a Roman historian writing for a Roman audience. However, I thought that this video was very interesting, and if anybody out there hadn't seen it, I thought it'd be worth seeing. So here we go.
Look at this. This was written in 91 AD. At the same time, there appeared in Judea an extraordinary person called Jesus, if it be lawful to call him a man. He was a famous worker of miracles, a teacher of those who were desirous of receiving the truth in simplicity, and brought over to him many disciples, both Jews and Gentiles. This was the Christ, whom Pilate, as the accusation of the princes and the great men of the nation, delivered up to the ignominious punishment of the cross, notwithstanding which those who first loved him did not forsake him. He appeared to them alive again the third day after his crucifixion, which numbers with numberless other wonders concerning him. And thence to this day there is a set of people who bear the name of Christian, as owning him for their head, Lord, and Master.
My. This is a historical, documented witness that Jesus Christ was real, he was legitimate, and they bear record of him here in this historical narrative. From 91 AD, yes sir, this is 20 years after the fall of Jerusalem.
This man was not a Christian. He was very anti-Christian. He was very pro-Rome and pro-Sanhedrin.
So just wanted to share that. Again, building up some positive videos here before we really start getting into some negative stuff. And here's the first one. You may have saw it in the title. Did you guys hear that Nicaragua has recently banned the Bible? I kid you not. This is a recent maneuver by, let me see, I got the article here, Ortega Murillo, the dictator of Nicaragua. Now, technically, I guess him and his wife were supposed to be Catholics, but in recent years, they have been persecuting because Catholics and the Catholic Church, at least within Nicaragua, has been outspoken against him. And just recently, so this is persecution.org, International Christian Concern. This is just this website kind of focuses on any type of persecution of any type of Christian around the world. But this was just here at the end of December in 2025. According to local media outlet Centro America 360, notices were posted at bus terminals in Costa Rica warning travelers that they could not bring Bibles into neighboring Nicaragua. Other prohibited items on the list included sharp objects such as knives, drones, and perishable food. The restrictions seem to have come down from the Ortega Murillo dictatorship ruling Nicaragua and were enacted earlier this month. According to Centro America 360, other sources, however, indicated the policy is months old and was implemented earlier this year. So pretty wild. One human rights counselor says, "We are seeing the methodical repression of anyone who dares to challenge Ortega and Murillo's grip on power." An expert who contributed to the report, "This is a government at war with its own people." And so I bring this up because very little interesting procession or celebration occurred in Colombia. This was before the kidnapping of Maduro, but a satanic worship temple in Colombia was attended by various government officials. Now, you may have seen recently that, and we're going to get into the whole Maduro thing, because I have a little bit of an opinion that a lot of people, people are either like, oh, this is terrible, this is anti-constitutional, he didn't ask for congressional approval, And others like, hey, it makes the American empire stronger. I'm going to have a little bit of a more nuanced critique to it all. But this is fascinating that in Colombia, government officials held an event to award medals to high-ranking satanic worshipers. Such events and awards are no longer conducted in secret and are now widely practiced. Now, you may think, oh, this is probably AI. It's actually not. It's actually not AI. This was actually a satanic temple in Colombia, and these are two government officials then passing out awards to various people. Pretty wild stuff. Now, they kind of look like a poor man's KKK with those hats on. And you think if they're open Satanists, why don't they just take the hats off? I mean, I don't get it. But yeah, these are government officials handing out medals to various Satanists. I mean, you can see the sort of Baphomet-like statue with the horns, and then you can see the upside-down crosses. No, this is not to St. Peter being crucified upside down. This is a satanic temple. And so a lot of wild stuff going on in Central and South America. I mean, all of Latin America, essentially. And so keep that in mind when we start to talk about Maduro and Venezuela. No matter what you think about Trump's use of military power and force, I got a video of somebody who describes a conversation that one of the, I think it was a Venezuelan bodyguard that was there that survived the attack, described what happened. And it sounds like many of the leaders in Latin America are a bit on edge. And so there's a larger question, is this good or bad? Well, if Colombia and its government officials are willingly and openly going to satanic temples to give people medals, maybe the American empire isn't that bad. I don't know. Of course, getting entangled in foreign wars, all the tax money, yada, yada, yada. Of course, we know. But what the hell's going on here? That's a serious question. Yeah, above man said, the only difference between these guys and Western civic governments is ours do it in private. Yeah, I know. Don't they at least have the decency to do this in private? How dare they? How dare they just openly proclaim their Satanism? At least ours pretend that they're, reading the Talmud or, into weird sexual fetishes. They just come out in the open, But at least it's better to see the enemy visibly than, ours. They hide behind the nomenclature of neocon, conservative, MAGA supporter, Zionist, but the ideology is all the same. Okay, let me catch up on Silvergore threw in 2, said for the goal. Thank you so much. Ed Peters throws in 5, no comment. Thank you very much, Ed. Journey of Abundance, Topo Chico Fun. Thank you very much. I need to stop drinking these. I recently saw that Mexico's not sending their best, not just in regards to immigrants, but also Topo Chicos, I guess, are filled with a bunch of chemicals that are potentially toxic, which is unfortunate because I love how carbonated they are. They're like the best carbonated water, but I'm going to have to find a new alternative, I think. Chad Merrill throws in 10. Thank you very much. Zorched throws in 5, says, if you want uplifting Orthodox content, read Greece's Constitution. It's a banger. Very true. Journey of Abundance throws in 5. Hey, shout out to my friend Journey of Abundance. Says, crazy fact, the floors of the Russian Armed Forces Cathedral are made from melted Nazi tanks. I love that. That's incredible. Byzantine Soldier throws in 9 and says, I just got baptized a few days ago in a Russian church. Glory to God, Byzantine Soldier. It is a difficult journey and focus on spirituality. Christ is born. Glorify him. Thank you for the support and welcome home. Welcome to the arena, Byzantine Soldier. Glad to have you on our side. Next thing I got, and this is just because of all the immigrant stuff, which we're going to be getting into today. This narrative that white people don't have culture. I don't have no idea where this came from. I don't know if you saw, there was a famous joke. There was like an Asian comedian. I've seen him on Kill Tony before. and he was talking about white people being upset with immigrants, and why don't they just go to and have their own little ethno paradise on an island. And then the white comedian responded, and he said, yeah, but if we did that, then they'd all want to come to our island. And so clearly the cultures, the societies that are built out of European ancestry, they are the ones that everybody wants to flock to. I mean, I know that Dubai's hot and various cities in the Middle East, Abu Dhabi, but, how is it that all these people, we saw this, and I'm going to be playing a video of a Somali immigrant who literally threatened the life of Elon Musk. Now, I'm going to also be criticizing Elon Musk today, but if you saw my video that I posted last week on Are White People Going Extinct, Elon Musk is, as I've told you guys so many times, he's kind of an ultimate gaslighter. He always plays both sides, right? And one of the positive things he's been doing is talking about the population collapse and the percentage demographic of the world of European peoples. And in the year 1900, we were 36% of the global population, Europeans. Now, of course, that is before World War I and World War II, in which we all fought each other. And then the recent consensus, I think it was from 2023, it was down to 8 to 9%. I saw one that said 12%. But the common number is like 8 to 9%. And if we keep going at the rate that we're going, we will probably be about 4% of the global population. And so one of the things that I appreciate Elon Musk talking about is that, hey, these countries won't be the same when the heritage civilians of these civilizations actually disappear, which we're seeing in Germany, France, England. You guys get it. You see it. And obviously in America, we're in like 56% of America is of European ancestry. And we're already expected within, I think, a generation and a half to become a minority. We'll be like 48% of America. And so it's a difficult question. Is America still America if the people who founded the country and hold the values and hold on to whatever we call the Americana culture of this Enlightenment experiment, is it still America? Well, obviously not. If you replace all the Japanese on the island of Japan with Indians, not only will it be incredibly dirty and filled with poop everywhere, but it's no longer Japan. It's Little India. And this idea that there isn't a magic dirt, this is why people have been so critical of Vivek Ramaswamy, who's basically trying to tell people that it's absolutely fallacious to believe in the idea of a heritage American because we're just a nation of ideals. No. And in fact, what I'll be showing you today is the amount of fraud that's present in India. If we're going to be talking about peoples bring their cultures when they come, Vivek actually, his brother and his mother made millions and millions of dollars through their fraud with their Alzheimer's company, which they sold based on it helping Alzheimer's. Of course, there was no clinical trials that actually supported it. And fraud is actually a sort of cultural crux of Indian identity, and I'm going to show you a video in which it's so bad, scientists actually had to develop a new term called infinite fraud because the amount of fraud that occurs in the country of India surpasses every other nation at such a exponential degree that they had to create a new term for the amount of fraud that comes out of India. Now, recent studies have talked about Indian fraud regarding immigration and how many of the millions of people in the United States actually came on temporary visas and then never left. And of course, this was all orchestrated by the government, and there's no plan to ever kick them out. But this is a little video I thought you guys would appreciate describing like what is white culture, right? All these famous people trying to tell you that it doesn't exist. White people don't have culture. They don't put hot sauce on everything they eat.
No white culture. White people have no culture.
What's your favorite thing about being a white girl?
Shocking.
I would say just the culture. I don't know.
What culture?
You have to be so uneducated, so low IQ. Every time I pick up a book and I start reading it, I'm in awe at the people that came before. Civilization itself was largely founded by white people, white culture. It took people coming together and thinking about things to create it. It doesn't just spawn from a void. It's a collective effort of people who came before us. The fact that we're not shitting into a bucket and throwing it outside our front door is because someone thought of alternatives. Someone thought, right, this is a bad way to do it, let's do it this way. How many of you could come up with a functioning sewage system right now off the top of your head? How many of you could come up with a way to run society at the top of your head? The idea of a nation, what's that founded upon? What's its ruling principles? Your phone, your building. How many of you know how to make concrete? The only way you ever say like white culture isn't real or you laugh at it is if you have to be so uneducated. I think if someone picked up one book, even the simple act of holding the book, asking yourself the question, how was this printed? When were we first able to print things? Okay, the printing press, who invented that? Where did it come from? What effect did that have on society? Now that we could mass produce written information and share it to the world, what effect does that have on civilization? Why did they even need to do that in the first place? At the same time the Germans were doing this, other cultures were practicing child sacrifice. Which does better? You would soon come to the conclusion that the world we're living in is the result of a collective effort of thousands, millions of people who came before us. Most inventions come from white people. White people who wanted a better world, who dreamt big. Man, and then they go culture and then it's like fucking salt on chicken. It's so bad.
Facts. All facts there. But let's see here. Welcome, Histo Sanis Gospodi. Welcome to be a Codal Crew member. Thank you very much for joining. But yeah, this just hits at this idea that somehow everybody wants to come to first world nations. There was recently a video of some Mexican immigrant talking about how she hates American culture, she hates America, she hates all these people that think America is the best, and that the reason that she's there and her relatives and her family is there is because they can make more money than in Mexico. But Mexican culture is way better. Mexican people are better than white Americans. White Americans are racist, all this different stuff. And what we're seeing right now, and this is what I think the year of 2026 is the white man no longer cares. The word racism, calling us bigots, whatever you want, Nazis, it doesn't matter anymore because our civilizations, our historical inheritance as a people group is going to vanish unless we stand up and say, no, this is ours. We're going to go ahead and take back control of it. And we're going to now reinstitute policies that revalidate our identity, our cultures, our principles, our values, our religion, which of course is already nefarious because what is the religion of the West? Is it Orthodoxy? Is it Catholicism? Is it Protestantism? Is it evangelical Christianity? Is it Mormonism? Of course but that is a serious question. That's the problem of the Enlightenment. That's the problem of perennialism and multiculturalism and secularism. But if you don't have any religion, there's nothing you're going to use to fight back against the Muslims, which we're going to get to later. I mean, we literally have Muslim communities. We have imams in the U.S., in Dearborn, Michigan, telling people that they are coming to take America over and that America will be Muslim. And you look at the Somali fraud, you look at the Democratic Party, whether it be in Washington, the state of Ohio, of course, Minnesota, just absolutely reluctant to look into all the immigration fraud and these fraud regarding daycares. I mean, Michael Byrd, if you guys remember the guy that shot Ashley Babbitt on January 6th, somebody did a deep dive recently into daycares in Washington, D.C. and found out that his family owns a daycare, quote unquote, at his house and has been taking in millions of dollars from the federal government for 17 years. Huh. Interesting. Maybe what we've just discovered is it's not just the Somali community, but it's the globalist powers that be. It's the entrenched bureaucracy of America that is literally looting America through this daycare fraud. And of course, I have a video that we'll be looking at somebody in Washington State. Again, tons and tons of daycares that aren't real in the name of Somalis and various immigrant communities. And she says, we have no interest in looking into that. The problem is white men. Well, lady, that is not going to work out very well. I'm telling you, this is the year in which all the name calling is going to have zero effect on people. And so the next story I got here has to do with the drone attack on Putin. Now, I don't know if you guys have been following this, but things have really heated up. And it sounds, I wouldn't be surprised if Russia actually just ends this war in the very near future. We saw Zelensky. He was back in America begging for money from Trump. He was up in Canada. I think he got like another few $1 billion from the Canadians. And meanwhile, he leaves Ukraine, and what occurs? 91 drones attempt to attack the home of Vladimir Putin in Novgorod. Yeah. Now, what's unfortunate, Trump made a statement. This was when Netanyahu was down at Mar-a-Lago just a few days ago. And Trump made a statement that Putin himself called and confirmed that this did happen. Now, I don't know if Putin, what all was said, Trump didn't say. He just said that he did confirm that the attack occurred by Putin on phone the morning after this attack. But if you listen to people like Colonel Douglas McGregor, he claims to have evidence, both with inside Russia and outside Russia, that the CIA was involved. Of course, MI6, the British were involved. They basically are running the Ukrainian military at this point. But, I mean, how does Putin respond when there's evidence that the CIA under Ratcliffe is doing things that are directly contrary to Trump trying to attain this peace deal? Now, if it's ever going to happen, we'll see. Of course, the one in Israel and Gaza hasn't ever come through. But the idea that they're going to attain this peace between Russia and Ukraine, meanwhile, his own CIA underneath him is actively participating on behalf of the Brits and the Ukrainians to kill and assassinate the president of Russia. I don't think that's going to be very well. And so I'm going to show you after a few clips here what Putin's response is. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just bomb the hell out of Kiev and they just storm Kiev. I mean, it's already recently, if you listen to some of the military theorists, they expect Russia to take Odessa anytime, whether it be in a few days or next few weeks. And they are planning a special military operation, which most likely is going to lead to them just ending this war and stop playing games. Now, at the same time, you have Europe. And what's going on in Europe? Well, Europe is doing everything they can to sabotage and destroy themselves. They are essentially on a suicide quest. And the funniest thing is after the Maduro kidnapping by the U.S. government, that Denmark is really, really worried about Greenland. The access to the Arctic. That's one of the few access points for continental Europe to the Arctic. Well, they say they're going to use the full force of their military to stop Trump. Give me a break. Europe can't even, can't defeat Russia. And even in American media, they want to sort of poo-poo and Russia and act like they're not as advanced militarily as they are. They are. They are a real player in the world. They're one of the global leaders. And they're orthodox, and they have the most nukes on the planet. That's just a fact. And some of the delivery mechanisms for their nuclear weapons, and I'm going to get to this because Putin's basically telling them, look, we got a new missile, and we know for a fact no weapon in the West can stop it. And if you guys are going to keep, whether it be America or NATO, if you guys are going to keep playing this game, then let's play. And I think, and we'll get to the Maduro thing here in a few, but what Trump did with Maduro and Venezuela is basically said, game on. And this has put Europe in between two powers. Europe is going to attack America if we decide that we're just going to confiscate Greenland. No. And you're also going to fight a full-fledged war against Russia. No, that's not going to happen either. So Europe now has created rhetoric where they're at war with Russia and they're threatening some type of military escalation with America. Give me a break. I saw that multiple MPs in the EU were talking about how if Trump takes Greenland, then we're just going to confiscate his military bases. Okay? I mean, I'm all for a international policy that focuses on the Western Hemisphere. That's fine with me. However, they're not going to do it. What are you talking about? America, just like Israel, I mean, there's Israel and then there's Europe. They are totally dependent upon the American military and our military might. If they are not allied with us, Europe goes bye-bye. They cannot stop anything. Like, what are these people thinking? It's just hilarious. So here's an update on what's happening with that drone attack. If you guys weren't aware, so I got a few different things to show you guys regarding, again, this wasn't just Ukraine. It's being touted as an attempt by Ukraine to assassinate Putin. We know for a fact that Britain and, according to some sources, the CIA were involved in this attempted assassination of Putin.
To a peace deal. Well, yeah, that piano. I'm sure you're not going to believe this, but you know how President Trump just brought in Zelensky, the tranny playing the piano with his penis into the goddamn White House, and he had this meeting and these talks about how we were getting close to a peace deal. Well, yeah, that piano playing little tranny just went over here and decided to carry out a drone attack on Russia. I mean, what better thing to do, right? During a peace deal and you're trying to negotiate peace talks. Let's send in a wave of drones to attack the president's home where he sleeps with probably his wife and his children. But anyways, I digress from that. Might as well just jump over here to the story, which is a video attack on President Putin's residence. This is video footage, shows strikes on President Putin's residence as drones reportedly flew deep into Russian territory. You guys are going to want to check this out. At this point, you would assume that all peace talks are off, and if you were President Putin, you'd be unleashing a wave of hell on Ukraine, unlike anything that you've ever seen. It's one thing if you want to, take some shots at the soldiers on the battlefield, but do you want to come to my house? You want to knock on my front door? Well, if I was Putin, I'd be sending a hypersonic right into Zelensky's bunker. But that's just me. I don't know about you guys. Now, we jump back over here. RT came out and they said, downed UAV with a 6 kg explosive charge. Russian mod publishes video proof of Ukrainian attacks on Putin's residence. The attempts were carried out on the night of December 28th to 29th. Watch report by the unit who took down 41 of the 91 drones sent by Kyiv. Check this video out.
В результате анализа сбития украинских беспилотников была обнаружена одна из модификаций Чеклун-В. Боевая часть данного беспилотника представляет собой фугасный заряд весом 6 кг. Данная фугасная часть начинена большим количеством поражающих элементов и предназначалась для поражения живой силы и гражданских объектов. В связи с попаданием в хвостовую часть данный беспилотный аппарат остался целым. Тот редкий уникальный случай, когда мы имеем не разорвавшуюся боевую часть, начиненную фугасными элементами, массой 6 килограмм.
This message goes to President Putin from the American people from the bottom of our hearts. If you could just do us a favor and just wipe out all of Ukraine, take it off the map so they can't suck another penny of our tax dollars out. Every one of their soldiers is actually collecting a full military pension that's getting paid by the U.S. citizens. So if you want to feel like you just want to take them out so we don't have to pay that, we'd greatly appreciate it. And in return, we're willing to give you Lindsey Graham, we're willing to give you Chuck Schumer, we're willing to give you a few of those country singers that went over to Kyiv and, played the guitar, Jason Aldean. No, it wasn't Jason Aldean, it was the other, Brad Paisley. Yeah, those guys. So any of those guys that you want, we're willing to serve them up to you. I mean, we'll give you quite possibly even Kash Patel. I mean, if you want some of these military, if you want John Ratcliffe, anybody from the CIA or any previous CIA administrator that tried to overthrow your country and carry out those regimes, we'll give you them all, Putin, if you could just do us a solid favor and just take out all of Ukraine. So please don't leave any of the men behind that are actually collecting a salary off the American people, because we're done paying those. We're sick of that. We're actually not paying our taxes anymore. We're just going to write in Ukraine as a dependency and a big middle finger and tell them to fuck off. If you could do us a favor, Putin, we'd greatly appreciate it. But, we can be friends, homie. We like you, Putin. We're good. We're homies, right? We stand with the Russian people. We don't give a fuck about Ukraine. Just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.
True. Facts. I think that's how the majority of people feel, especially the younger generation. And then here is Russian military reveals more details of alleged drone attack on Putin's residence. So the idea, I saw some people saying that this was all AI or this is a fake story. Hey, maybe that video is AI. I have no idea. But if, according to Putin, according to Trump, according to Lavrov, according to the Russian military, this actually did happen. There was an actual attempt to assassinate Putin, and it looks like multiple Western powers were in on it with Ukraine. Now, I'm not going to read this document to you, but I am going to show you a little bit. So here's some of the paths that these drones are supposedly said to have taken. And we know that, remember, there was a drone attack, what was it, a couple years ago or a year ago, when Ukraine packed all these drones into a semi-truck, drove them all the way up to Moscow, and then took the top off the semi-bed so that the drones could then fly out, and then they attacked the Kremlin. Do you guys remember that? So this isn't unheard of, and it looks to be that this was hopefully, because I'm with the guy in the video, I hope that Putin just ends this war right now. And here is Putin. This was just today. This was today, so earlier today. Vladimir Putin said this: there is no chance of shooting down the Orshnik. If any Western experts doubt it, let's conduct a high-tech duel of the 21st century. Let them pick a target to hit, say Kiev. Let them concentrate all their air and missile defenses there, and we will strike that target with the Orshnik and see what happens. We are ready for such an experiment. The question is whether they are. And this was then being shared by everybody, is that the Doomsday radio station in Russia unexpectedly began playing Swan Lake. And this is the same piece used during the Soviet era political crisis, including the deaths of leaders and the 1991 coup. The music started hours after the Kremlin pledged retaliation for the assassination attempt on Trump. On Putin, I'm sorry. I said Trump for some. The assassination attempt on Putin. So I think things are pretty much escalating. Very interesting, the unfolding of events. And again, I hope Putin just does it. Just take out Zelensky. Take out all of Kiev. Just take over Ukraine. We are done with it. Put Europe in between a pickle. They're essentially between America and Russia. They can't do anything about it. We're done with it. We're done with the Keir Starmers of the world. We're done with the Macrons. We're done with, Merz in Germany. We're done with all of it. We don't care. The Europeans just need to take over their damn countries. Because Europe is literally leading them towards their own self-destruction at this point. It's unbelievable. So here's a little fun thing that I was going to share with you guys is AI is definitely getting better, and we're going to get into all my favorite AI edits of Donald Trump. They're hilarious. They're absolutely hilarious. But one that was kind of going viral the last few days was an AI remake of 50 Cent. 50 Cent's Many Men song, and they put it in a sort of bluegrass country, Americana country style. So I wanted to share this with you because it shouldn't get copyrighted because the damn AI made it. But check this out.
50 Cent Many Men, but an Americana country version. Let's jump straight in and see what it's going to be like. You ready? Let's go.
Many men wish death upon me.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Blood in my eye, dog. And I can't see.
Oh, God.
And I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And guys trying to take my life away. I put a hole in front of mine for messing around with me.
Please be good.
My back on the wall, now you gon' see. Better watch how you talk when you talk about me. 'Cause I'll come take your life away. Many men, many, 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 many men wish death upon me. Lord, I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. Now they was the guys putting money on my
Yes, it's AI. Yes, we talked about how AI was going to take over art. There's still going to be a premium on actually human-made art. But I'll tell you, with all the music that's coming out of the music industry, I mean, some of these remixes I've heard from AI are just so superior to the originals, superior to anything that is really coming out now. And when we get to the AI videos of Trump, I mean, AI is really taking a turn. I had a friend recently just send me a video that a friend made of him, and it was able to take, a photo and turn it into a full-fledged video. And the distortion of the face, I mean, it's just everything's getting better. It's kind of scary. It's sort of a nightmare scenario, but it is happening. So anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to share it with you guys. Thank you so much, Akathist. He says, Christ is born. Glorify him. There's a new German World War II movie called The Tank. It has a lot of symbolism in it. I'd like to know what you think about it. I have not seen it. I'll have to check it out. I do appreciate the contribution, as well as Byzantine Soldier says, you think Putin can be canonized as a saint? I don't know. I don't know the sincerity of Putin's heart in regards to his Orthodox faith, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather have him as the President of the United States than anybody we've had, I don't know, since Andrew Jackson, maybe Teddy Roosevelt. I don't know. I mean, you guys have any, at least he loves his people. He loves his culture. He loves his ancestry. He loves his heritage. But my God, Trump's been a massive disappointment, which was expected. We knew the Zionism was going to come. We didn't know that 600 Chinese were going to be brought 600,000 Chinese students were going to be brought in for American universities. We didn't know that he was going to be this whipped by Israel. But, there are good things. I don't know if you saw today, he actually stopped large investment firms from buying family homes in residential neighborhoods. So BlackRock, Blackstone, these types of companies. So I think that's fantastic. I don't know if you've seen like James Fishback running for governor in Florida. The rhetoric that he is putting forth, this is exactly what we need. He just had an interview today on Tucker Carlson's YouTube channel. I highly recommend you guys going and checking that out if you hadn't. James Fishback running for governor in the state of Florida to replace DeSantis. He is our guy. He is our guy. He gets it. He's a younger guy. He's only 31, which made me kind of feel old. I'm 36, and there's a 31-year-old running for governor of Florida. And he does come from wealth. He was an investment guy. He was working in finance before he decided to run for governor. But at least the rhetoric, we don't know again what's in his heart, but the rhetoric, the things that he's talking about, he's our guy. So, anyways, moving forward here. What you guys say? I'm old as hell. Come on now. Come on. Above man, you old as hell. Come on. I'm millennial. You guys are just so damn young, all you Gen Zers. I'm not old. I still feel young in my heart. Are you AI? I am AI, actually. Thank you for prompting me. All right. So, actually, I want to give a special thank you to Victor Z, who threw in a super chat over on Streamlabs, threw in $46 and says, congrats on 46K. That's right. We just passed 46,000 subs here on YouTube on Church of the Eternal Logos, and we are on to 50. 50 is the next time I'm going to do a celebration goal for subscribers. 50,000 and then 100,000. And so my goal this year, you're going to be seeing me putting out so many more shorts, clip videos, streams. My goal is to try to get this YouTube channel up to 80,000 by the end of 2026. That's my goal. You'll be able to hold me. Right now, it's January 9th. You'll be able to hold me to it, see how well we can do it. But see if we can at least get up to 80,000. God willing, we get to 100,000. And I'll be launching the old YouTube channel. It was pro psychedelics and all that stuff. Dr. David Patrick Harry. It's got 74,000. And I'm working with one of my guys, and we are going to be putting together, I've talked to you, videos criticizing other religions. We're going to put together a whole series on the dark side of Hinduism, and then this summer I'm going to put another one on the dark side of Islam, and basically just exposing all these different religions. We're going to do one on paganism in Africa, and just exposing the absolute degeneracy that is done in the name of religion. So anyways, that content's going to be coming out here soon. So if you're not already subscribed, go to David Patrick Harry, Dr. David Patrick Harry on YouTube, and you'll be able to subscribe over there. So a lot of fun stuff. And remember, guys, all the super chats. So where are we at right now? We're at 13 of 50. If you guys help me reach 50 super chats for this stream, and look, we're already about a quarter through, you guys will be able to choose essentially a sponsored stream topic. So anyways, that's the goal today. If we can reach 50 super chats, you, the audience, will be able to choose a sponsored stream topic. You tell me the topics, we'll put a poll together, and we'll see what you guys vote on. So that is the incentive today, is that you guys can, I'm going to start doing this regularly. Each month, you guys can basically sponsor streams. Because we were talking about how can the audience essentially group fund for sponsored streams. Well, this is the way. So that's the goal. Next section I want to get into here is just, really a conversation on migrants and looking at the decrepit state of Europe. This is a video, my wife is from Germany, so Germany does have a soft spot in both of our hearts. And you looked at these videos coming out of Germany on New Year's. Now, if you remember in Cologne, I don't know if this was about 15 years ago, there was a mass Muslim raping of German women. It was like over 1,000 women were victimized on New Year's in Germany. And there's all these videos coming out. Of course, they set fire to the famous cathedral in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, burned down essentially the most iconic church in the Netherlands. And from what I was reading, they basically had fireworks and they stood around the church and were shooting at them for over an hour until eventually the fireworks caught the church on fire. Then the police came while the church was on fire and they started shooting fireworks at the police. That was in the Netherlands. Now, Geert Wilder has now vowed to remigrate, deport all these people. Denmark, again, how serious Denmark is. I don't know how serious to take Denmark, especially with their rhetoric on Greenland. But they are reportedly going to do mass deportations and remigration of Muslims in Denmark. So it feels like maybe there's a tide turning in Europe, but this rhetoric that they're going to go to war with the America or Russia, I mean, you guys got to get the Muslims out first. And so this is just a little video highlighting the difference between Poland, which doesn't have a Muslim problem, and Germany. And you can see how the Muslims, they shoot fireworks all through the city. They shoot them at police. They shoot them at German people. There was a video of a German guy riding a bicycle around Berlin, and the Muslims were literally trying to shoot him with fireworks. And there's probably like 20 Muslim kids, all with book bags full of fireworks, literally just shooting them at anybody they knew wasn't Muslim. Yeah, it looks like Gaza. It pretty much does. Moji says, yeah, I lived in a village in Germany. Yeah. So it's crazy what's going on. And this is a video. This guy, he creates content. He kind of travels all over around the world. I thought he was South African, but apparently he's German. Maybe he was German, moved to South Africa. But this is just a video of him walking around Germany, and this comes from a much longer video clip I was showing my wife, actually. This is in Berlin, and he's walking through a park during the day that is called a no-go zone for Germans. Now imagine that. Imagine that the park in Berlin, according for the Germans, they call it a no-go zone because all these doctors, engineers, and rocket scientists are selling drugs, getting high, pulling their penis out, and masturbating in public, defecating, doing all this type of stuff. And so this is just a quick little snippet. And what he has done is he walks around and he has another guy, and then there's usually another guy that's following behind them. And they'll tell him, hey, you can't film here. You're not allowed to film. You don't have permission to film me. And he says, I'm in Germany. I'm German. I'm going to film where I want to film. And there's a couple times where guys step up to him, and then, they actually are willing to get physical and actually brawl with these people. And then they eventually back down. But it just shows how weak, it's not just European Europeans in Europe, Americans, we've been the same way. How weak we are in regards to the fact that physical confrontation is the only way that we deal with this problem, and that's the only language that these other people speak. So here's a quick little video segment of this. Then this comes from like a 15-minute video of him walking through this park.
I can film what I want, dude. I'm in Germany. I'll do what I want in my country. You don't tell me to film. You don't tell me not to film in my country.
And isn't it funny? They're in Berlin. You have what appears to be some type of African migrant. He's telling him, you can't film here. He says, well, I'm German. I'm in Germany. I'm going to film where the hell I want. And then he tells him, F you, multiple times. Why are they speaking English? Are these people living in Berlin? They haven't even assimilated enough to speak German?
Yeah, bro. I want to follow you.
So, amongst the playing children and the families, just everywhere you look, engineers and doctors selling drugs. Telling you that you can't film. Telling a German that he can't film in his country.
So this is just the state of the West right now. And that's where I want to play this video, because I think this is the spirit of 2026. This is what everybody's feeling. Now, I'm not talking about the average magatard or boomers necessarily, although I'm sure boomers are feeling it too. But this is the sentiment that I think all younger white men are feeling right now, because it's do or die. I mean, this is the last generation to do anything regarding saving our countries.
Alexander Solzhenitsyn once wrote that there is nothing like the wrath of the man who never wanted to be violent. Once you take away the person that just wanted to live a normal life, I just wanted to be left alone, I just wanted to be a regular guy, and once they push the normal person too far to the point where we are no longer able to be that guy, they've killed that person, they've killed that part of us, to now we're at the point where we have to be living by the rules of the jungle to protect our family, to protect ourselves. The wrath these people are going to feel is going to be medieval. Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
It's true. It's true. And this is the only language they understand. I mean, you look at the way the Somalis have responded to the exposure of their fraud regarding these daycare centers, which is just the beginning. I've talked to you guys before about the Somali fraud isn't just daycares. They have entire health centers where they've got. I showed you in 2023 they got over $300 million because they had rampant cases of autism. Now, of course, it wasn't real, but we're talking about housing. I showed you in another stream before that Somalis had their own real estate company where they were, again, siphoning taxpayer monies into their company and then essentially lowering the prices of houses so Somalis could move in and take over neighborhoods. So it's just the beginning, but then when they get exposed, it's not like other Somalis says, oh, that's terrible. I can't believe what my community's doing. You know, we need to respect the country that we No, they taunt you. They tell you that we're taking over Minneapolis. We see the woman that we're going to watch later, this young girl, tell Elon Musk that they're going to kill him. And this is where Elon Musk, again, he's a double-edged sword, but he said, okay, then it's war. And so you see how hard he's been going in the paint regarding demographics, culture, things that are going on. So, this is, Kalergi plan in action. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And we're at a breaking point. And I think 2026 is the year where it's just explicit. And this is where at least the optics of Trump and Maduro, is it really that bad? I mean, I get it. This whole idea, well, I'll save it till we get to the Maduro thing. But anyways, Vigo throws in 2. Thank you so much, Vigo. Really appreciate that. James Johnson throws in 5, says, love this topical type stream. Thank you very much, James. Really appreciate you being here. Mr. Fist throws in 10, says, the fruits of 14th century of cousin loving on display. Yeah. I mean, that's just one of the many problems with Islam. Many of the problems with Islam. You know, it obviously Christianity, we haven't had these problems. We do not condone incest. But if you look in East Asia, you know, they don't have Christianity, but they also don't do this stuff. You know, in a sense, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg regarding the IQ. Is it that they have an IQ enough that they don't marry their first cousin? I don't know. But you look at Pakistan, I mean, it's horrendous. It's like 69% of the population is born of incest. And then you look at the migrants that are coming into Europe. I mean, they're Afghan, they're Pakistani, they're Turkish, and then they're North African. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? And so that's why the only language that they speak is violence. That's the only way, because that's, I mean, Somalis, for example, look at Somalian culture. I love that Ilhan Omar talked about how Somalis are part of the fabric of the United States, that they contributed to what America is. How did Somalis contribute anything to America? I don't think there was even Somalis, maybe a person here or a person there. There was not a Somali community in America until like the late 1970s. So give me a break. I'm so sick of this stuff. Red Fox throws in 50, says, DP8s, sprechen Sie Deutsch? A little bit. Wie geht's? Nein. Ja. So anyways, thank you very much, Red Fox. He's actually a member over at the Logos Academy. God bless you, brother. Wish you the absolute best. And Mr. Fist throws in another 5, says, the response to their fraud getting exposed was to claim a thief broke in and stole all their records. Their 71.9 IQ average on full display. Yeah, that was another ridiculous thing. I could have brought that up today. I could have spent the whole stream just talking about the Somali thing, but there's so many other things going on in the world, and many of you guys have been following it, so I don't need to regurgitate and reiterate the same things you're aware of. But yeah, they pull out a kid who looks like he almost has Down syndrome. He's, I assume, in his late 20s, mid 30s, somewhere around there. And he claims when the Leering Center was found to have no kids, that somebody broke in and stole all the records of the kids being there. Now, why would anybody want to do that? Why would people antagonistic to the Somalis break into the Somali Leering Center? It's supposed to be learning, by the way. They don't know how to spell learning. The irony. The Leering Center, and then steal the records that the feds are going to want to analyze whether this is a legitimate business or not. Of course that didn't happen. But the fact that they think that was believable is part of the problem. All right, next topic here. Now, we've been warning about this really before Trump took office. You guys knew this was going to be the case. I knew it was going to be the case. Jews and Israelis and Zionists are pushing harder than ever for censorship and what they're claiming the rise of anti-Semitism, which can be anything. It can be you calling somebody Israel first. That's now equative to anti-Semitic tropes, which makes no sense. If you listen to Mark Levin, if you listen to Ben Shapiro, if you listen to Randy Fine, it's quite apparent that they're Israeli first. That's everything that they spout. I mean, all the positions. Ben Shapiro, literally, this was just 4 years ago, talking about how he doesn't care about the browning of America because America is just, like Vivek, a nation of ideals. No. Ideals don't just emerge out of thin air. People with histories, with cultures, with languages, with values and religion, they actually come up with ideals. Again, this isn't a chicken and the egg. There has to be a chicken before there's an ideal. So this whole thing is just clear that we have so many Israeli first, not only politicians, but influencers, things that you guys already know. But Meta, of course, by Zuckerberg, who is also is Zuckerberg a dual citizen? Does anybody know if he has an Israeli passport? I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, every 4th of July, he gets on his wakeboard or whatever you call it, get behind the boat. I don't know where he goes, Lake Tahoe, and holds the American flag up like he's a true patriot. Anyways, Meta's head of Jewish diaspora. Why would Meta have a head of Jewish diaspora? It's a technology company. They're building like VR. They run Facebook and Instagram. Why would Meta have a head of Jewish diaspora? Jordana Cutler said that she used her role specifically to protect Jewish people. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world.
In addition to my work leading the Israel public policy team, I created a new role specifically focused on the Jewish diaspora. It is a privilege to represent Meta to Jewish communities worldwide. I am proud that Meta's commitment to addressing anti-Semitism on our platforms has remained steadfast, especially after October 7th. Our policies are industry-leading in protecting Jewish people and Israelis on our platforms. Our community standards include policies that prevent harassment, violence, and incitement, and include a robust framework to combat anti-Semitism. Our hateful conduct policy includes specific protections for Israelis and Jews. We banned Holocaust denial and distortion back in 2020. We changed industry thinking on this issue, designating denial as hate speech rather than misinformation. It wasn't just about facts, it was about protecting people from harmful conduct. We banned content with harmful stereotypes about Jews, such as the claim that Jews run the world or other major institutions. We updated our policies to recognize that the term Zionist can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media, and we do not allow for dehumanizing comparisons of Zionists. It's a delicate balance between safety and expression. My role is to ensure that the voices of Israelis and the Jewish community are heard in this policymaking process. In addition to
So essentially, her role at a U.S. company, Meta, is to make sure that Israelis and Jews around the world are a protected group. And even comparing Israeli actions to anything else in history is now a bannable offense. Got it. Okay. I'm sure that's really going to stop the problem that these people are wanting to prevent. Here is former Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about an Israeli cybersecurity billionaire demanding to take away Americans' guaranteed First Amendment free speech and President Trump threatening war and sending in troops to Iran if everything we voted against is everything we voted against in 24. Trump voters spent the week threatening a tax revolt because they are so furious about the never-ending waste, fraud, and abuse of their hard-earned money going to foreigners and foreign wars. The focus should be on tax dollars here at home and defending our God-given freedoms and rights. And so what she's referring to is this right here. This is the Israeli tech billionaire talking about how he loves the First Amendment. That's why he want to make sure you can't say anything about Israel or Jews.
I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it, and quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah, I know it's difficult.
The government. So a tech billionaire from Israel comes to CNBC to tell Americans that to protect the First Amendment, because if you see the full clip before it, he's talking about how much he loves the First Amendment, how it's part of American culture, the fabric of what makes America, America. But to protect it, the Jews are going to have to take over all the social media platforms and limit your free speech because you may say something bad. Interesting. Here, unfortunately, this is already sort of law in London. So here's a video that came out. Now, this is again the problem. We can be anti-Zionist and also not be in favor of people that fornicate with goats. That is also true. So this idea, now, as an Orthodox Christian, my heart is with the Palestinian Christians, the Orthodox community that are in those lands, the heritage of Christianity in places like Nazareth and Bethlehem, in Jerusalem. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you have to be like pro-Islam, which I'm seeing a lot of people do online. That is just kind of taking things and getting a bit carried away and not seeing the fuller picture here, that this is a dialectic. I mean, we have rabbis literally saying that Islam is the broom of Israel and that Europe and America is the modern Rome, and that for their prophecies to come true about their Mashiach, Rome must be destroyed. Which really, again, the whole thing doesn't make sense because Israel won't be able to last unless America and Europe are there to defend it. But we're going to get into the eschatological stuff because if you guys don't know, January 16th, Predictive History, Professor Jiang of China is actually going to come on the channel. So if you guys have ever seen the YouTube channel Predictive History, he uses game theory and different analysis to predict the unfolding of geopolitical events. He is actually coming on the channel. We'll be having a discussion. I think it's at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock p.m. Friday, January, Friday, January 16th. Friday, January 16th. So make sure you guys, I don't know if he believes in the demiurge. He's not Christian, that's for sure. I believe he's an atheist scholar. But if you guys go watch his video on Pax Judaica, he actually has become very interested in a lot of the Orthodox prophecies. Not that he's Christian, not that he's going to become Orthodox, but the way that I got in contact with him is because he was interested in the Eschaton Vigil and the books that we've been putting out, and he wanted to read and become familiar with some of the Orthodox Christian prophecies because they align with his predictive model of where the world is going based on the use of his game theory. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Is I'm essentially going to be running through the timeline of our own eschatological expectations and getting his perspective on it. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's a week from today. So 1 week from today, that's going to be a pretty fun stream. Anyways, the point of this video here is that this woman, if you are in support of Palestine, then you are breaching conditions and can be arrested. This is in London. Now, again, they already have a massive Muslim problem. But here, this woman is threatened by the British police that she's going to be arrested because there is now only pro-Israel voices allowed in, I don't know, the Center Square in London.
If you don't do that, you are in breach of those conditions and you could be arrested.
What if we support Israel? Are we okay to stay or not?
I think I made it quite clear which side it was about. If you're in support of Palestine, then you are breaching your conditions.
And if you are in support of Israel, we can stay? Congo, Sudan. So what is this about? It's so
what is it about?
I understand if we can't protest at all, but like if we protest for Palestine, Sudan, Congo, we can stay. If we protest for Israel, we can stay. Yes. Just to make this clear. If we protest for Israel, we can stay. Yes. Just to make this clear. Yes.
So that's already the case in Britain, and it's, I'm sure, on its way here to the United States. And the noticing continues. Because
that story is also fucking crazy. Like, you're deporting a student for having an opinion about a world war. It's a war that's happening, right?
Yeah.
At least from one side of it. Like, having an opinion is a problem that gets you ejected from the country. Like, especially you're at a university, which is supposed to be a place where ideas get challenged.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns out both sides are totally hypocritical and do exactly what the other side did, and
it's
whatever.
Interesting because we're getting to see it more clearly than we've ever seen it before, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it.
It's Tufts University.
Tufts. Arrested and detained by ICE agents in Somerville, Massachusetts. What did she say?
She wrote out something in the newspaper, I think. Like the school newspaper.
Right. Well, what was...
Op-ed.
But what was it? Let's see if we could read it. I wonder like what got her deported. What were the words?
Criticizing leadership.
She criticized Tufts' leadership response to the Tufts Community Union Senate passing several resolutions concerning human rights violations in Gaza. Months after the op-ed was written and just weeks before she was detained, the website Canary Mission published a profile on Miss, I don't know how to say her name, Ozturk, including her photograph claiming she engaged in anti-Israel activism. Its sole support for the contention was a link and screenshots of her op-ed. When asked about her case, Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed revoking her visa, adding, "We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses."
Shut up, Marco.
So
Yeah.
she was asking,
Oh, yeah.
put that up again, please. So she was asking, she was criticizing Tufts leadership's response to the Tufts Community Union Senate passing several resolutions. So she must be a part of the Tufts Community Union Senate, or someone is. So they passed several resolutions concerning human rights violations. So like, what was she? I want to know what she actually said. You know what I mean? I mean, we're getting a synopsis of what her actual op-ed was. See if we can find it. It's just interesting. Because like what can get you kicked out of a country that is the most pro-free speech country on planet Earth? Like what gets you kicked out? Is it really
Free speech.
Right. But
Free
is it
speech would
only
get you
that
fucking
one?
kicked
Is it
out.
only that one? Like what if you had an opinion on Ukraine and Russia? Would that get you kicked out?
I doubt it.
That's weird, right?
Certainly is.
That's kind of weird.
It's a little
Did you ever
strange, Joe.
Are you noticing?
Give me 2 more beers. I'll let you know. I'll let you know my algorithm's been feeding me.
which is true for many of us. So even Joe Rogan's starting to notice. I think the noticing continues. 2026 is the year of noticing. I've noticed. Total Gravity throws in a generous 50, says you're a real one. Thank you very much, Total Gravity. God bless you, brother. Mr. Fist throws another 5, says if America is just a nation of ideas, Israel just a nation of poor theology. That is a fact. Sounds about right. Logical thread follows. Stick is Coolio throws in 5, says Black Lives Matter. Pablo Winskabar throws in 3, says to the goal. Snagglebees throws in 5, says I was talking to someone at work about how Semite has been co-opted in the 20th, 21st century to narrow its definition. Antichrist people are crazy. Very, very true. Beef Sleazy throws in 2, says that's a performative contradiction. And Pufferfish throws in 2, says Jewish lives matter. That is true. That is the official stance of the U.S. foreign policy. Jordan Johnson throws in 10, says make America the 110th and send the goat lovers with them. I think that sentiment is spreading in America, Jordan. I don't think you're the only one. Mr. Fist throws another 5, says 2026, the year of pogrom maxing. Well, as long as it's not look maxing. I was going to add a whole section today on clavicular, but maybe I'll make a video on that. It's so gay. I'm not a big clavicular fan. I do find it very homosexual, some of the stuff going on there. Now, for a little bit of a interesting reminder here, if you guys don't remember, this was months ago, but it was recently making its rounds again. This is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stating that 1 Israeli life is equal to 40 American lives.
In fact, what happened on October 7th when over 1,000 people were massacred in one fell swoop, that's equivalent to about 40,000 Americans massacred. You can imagine what would happen. You know what happened when that happened to you, okay?
Absolutely.
Well, it happened in Pearl Harbor. You had 2,000 Americans killed. You went to World War II, and you knocked out Japan and Germany. It happened again in 9/11. You had almost 3,000 Americans butchered in New York. You went into Iraq and to Afghanistan, and you dealt with it. So Israel obviously received a blow that is 40 times bigger than that, okay? And we defended ourselves in the Seventh Front War. But understand that in the Holocaust, October 7th, Pearl Harbor, 9/11 happened every day for 5 years. 5,000, just like 5,000 October 7th, 5,000 September 11th.
I don't know. I'm going to have to see the math on that. I'm not totally sure. And this is followed up by the fact, if you guys weren't aware, you may have heard President Trump talk about the trial that is going on regarding Benjamin Netanyahu. And just interestingly enough, this week, Channel 12 found that about half of the politically active... Oh, no, this is a different one. I was going to tell you that the judge that was presiding of the case regarding, I believe it was fraud or money laundering, extravagant gifts that Benjamin Netanyahu, this is a different one. That judge was, strangely enough, in a deadly car crash this week. Can you imagine that? Benjamin Netanyahu comes to America. He spends time with Trump in Mar-a-Lago. He goes to the local synagogue there in southern Florida and talks about the terrible fact of anti-Semitism in America and why we need to crack down on social media platforms and free speech. And then the judge that is presiding over his case, which apparently there is a lot of sentiment against Netanyahu, he just mysteriously dies in a car crash. What are the chances? What are the chances? So here is a different one. Channel 12 found that about half of politically active Israeli social media accounts are bots. Who would have thunk that? With many amplifying posts by Benjamin Netanyahu and other members of his coalition. These bot networks rapidly like to repost pro-Israeli content moments after posting to hijack platform algorithms and give the impression of a bigger reach. Now let me put in Judge Car Crash Netanyahu. Let's see what we get here. There we go. Israeli judge Benny Sagi, who is overseeing Prime Minister Netanyahu's corruption trial, died in a car crash under suspicious circumstances in Israel. Who would have thought that? Just really strange stuff. Here is that other edge of Elon Musk. Now, he has been saying things that we would appreciate and normalizing in American discourse. But just in, Elon Musk holds call with Prime Minister Netanyahu to discuss developing artificial intelligence technology in Israel. Now, again, this is something that even Professor Jiang of Predictive History brought up in his video Pax Judaica, which you guys should go check out if you haven't seen it, that for Jews that are religious, one of the things that they need to do is sort of recenter Silicon Valley to Jerusalem, because that's what's going to make Jerusalem have sort of its technological power and the ability to facilitate the Greater Israel Project. Now, the fact that Elon Musk is behind it, and I got a few articles here where this is Times of Jerusalem. Netanyahu talks with Elon Musk about AI, autonomous cars. Billionaire says he'll visit Israel in March. And what it does is talk about how we intend to propel Israel forward and turn it into a global leader in the field of AI, just as we did in cyber and other technologies. Now, I've told you that there is an arms race right now for what they would deem as sentient AI, AGI. And Israel is now, they're in the top 10. And now it looks like they're trying to go to the top 3, if not win the arms race. And Elon Musk and many of the companies in Silicon Valley are now building headquarters in Jerusalem. Google has, I think Palantir has, Meta, I think Microsoft. And so we're seeing the migration of many of these titans in Silicon Valley migrate to Jerusalem, which again, from our eschatological perspective, this makes sense. This is totally makes sense. And here's more articles about it. This is JNS. Israel needs to remain in the forefront of the AI race. This is by James Spiro. This is just from last month, December 2025. In fact, that Israel is in a good situation in the worldwide AI race. Remember, the Manhattan Project is the analogy that I've been using regarding the AI race. Does not say anything about the future, warned Dror Bin, CEO of the Israeli Innovation Authority, at the AI Week 2025 currently taking place at Tel Aviv University. Here's another Times of Israel, how Israel positioned itself at the forefront of global AI research and development. Talking again about how it has sort of leapfrogged other nations and is becoming one of the leaders in AI research and development, which, again, makes sense regarding the Greater Israel Project. And also makes sense, again, Trump has been talking about the attacking of Iran. They've moved, him and Netanyahu have moved the goalposts. Before it was they can't have a nuclear program, okay? Now we're told that they bombed the nuclear facilities, a la prophecy, and the war is over, according to Peace. The 12-day war was over. In fact, I remember that happened while I was at the Whatever podcast in Santa Barbara. And then, recently, within the last 2 weeks, the goalposts have totally moved where now they can't have hypersonic missiles. Well, that has nothing to do with the nuclear program. I think every major nation on Earth probably has hypersonic missiles, or at least are developing those, whether they have nuclear capability or not. And now we're threatening Iran just based on missiles. And of course, if you're not aware, there's a massive upheaval that's occurring in Iran that's backed by Israeli and American forces, basically utilizing the ethnic differences in northern Iran. This was talked about. I told you guys I was speculating about this in the fall, that there was a theory. I even heard Colonel Douglas McGregor talk about it, that there was a theory that Israel, one of the ways that they were going to undermine Iran after the 12-day war was to create social unrest by utilizing Azerbaijan, which is now essentially a satellite of Israel in many ways, very close ally, just north of the Iranian border there. Azerbaijan is a Turkish group. There's a lot of Turkish ethnicities in northern Iran, and they're stirring up conflict there. So, war in Iran, most likely in 2026. Now, here's the thing. It's very plausible that the U.S. goes to war in Iran. Of course, they can't defeat Iran. Iran is a very mountainous nation. They can bomb the shit out of Iran. That's for sure. They can put Iran back into the Stone Age. We do have those capabilities. However, it's just going to bankrupt our nation even more. And then who do you think is going to confiscate all the military equipment in the Middle East once we're done with it? Israel. That's how Israel is going to double their military, is by confiscating all the equipment, the military bases and stuff that we already have positioned and the taxpayers built for in the Middle East. That's just my own speculation. Here's the Jerusalem Post. From startup nation to the AI nation. The global race in artificial intelligence is not determined by the brightest scientist. It requires building the smartest nation. So Israel is in full force trying to make sure that they are one of the smartest nations, meaning the utilization of their technology. So, digital credit scores, all this stuff, certainly incoming in Israel. All right, next one. Here's a little interesting thing. 60% of Jewish Israelis are allergic to pollen from olive trees. Now, I recently just came across, this is an older document. This is from 2013. This is not new. But I found this interesting study off PubMed Central. It says, highlight, out of Khazaria, evidence for Jewish genome lacking. Huh. Now, I've talked to you guys. We did a stream years and years ago on the 13th Tribe, the book by Arthur Kessler. He was a Hungarian Jew who argued that Ashkenazi identity is actually not Hebrew. It's actually not found in the Levant, but is actually a mixture of Turkish identity due to the rise of the Khazarian Empire. Now, I have videos talking about Khazaria. If you're not aware, go search it up. I have videos on it. Well, interesting enough, I found this little study and began reading it, and there was a scientist, Aaron El-Hayek, who sounds like he's probably Jewish, is a geneticist at Johns Hopkins School for Public Health. he became very interested in this idea after reading Arthur Koestler's 13th tribe theory. And the controversy cut into by L. Hike's work runs deep, far past the lab bench. Among some circles, his conclusions are bound to be unpopular. This is the first scientific paper to prove the Khazarian hypothesis and reject the Rhineland hypothesis, he says, and with it, about 40 years of research, although his findings will not be welcome in all circles. It talks about how L. Hayek first became fascinated by the idea, this genetic scientist, 10 years ago when reading Arthur Koestler's best-selling book, The 13th Tribe, published in 1976. Koestler calculated that Jews could not have numbered 8 million in Eastern Europe without Khazar contribution. Upon reading his ideas, L. Hayek says, I couldn't wait for genetic data that would allow someone to publish an evaluation of this hypothesis. Results in the current literature are tangled, he says. Everyone is basically following the same assumption. Ashkenazi Jews are a population isolate, so they are all similar to one another, and this is completely incorrect. Previous studies had, for example, combined the question of similarity among and between Jewish populations and the question of ancestry and relatedness to non-Jewish populations. L. Hayek viewed these questions separately. Jewish communities are less homogeneous than is popularly thought, he says. The Jewish communities along the former Khazarian border showing the most heterogeneity. So amongst the Ashkenazis, the ones in Eastern Europe that would be tied with the Khazarian theory are the most similar. He says, I had the hardest time clearing myself from the mindset of previous work, L. Hayek says. I was on the train thinking hard when it came to how to separate the questions. It was a great moment. However, it would be a mistake, he says, to conclude present-day Jews have nothing to do with ancient Judeans. I found a signature of the Middle East. I'm not certain whether it suggests Judean or Iranian ancestry, but it's there. Iranian as well as Judean. Jews began joining the Khazarian Empire as early as the 5th century, again, due to the Byzantine Empire pushing other people out. And so what was interesting is that it showed when comparing Jewish communities to their non-Jewish neighbors, a la the Palestinians, they were more of the Caucasus or Levant, Middle Eastern populations, which is closest to Jews. All Eurasian Jewish communities are closer to Caucasus populations, which would make sense. Where was Khazarios? It was in the northern Caucasus region, just north of the Black Sea. The western section of Khazaria touched the end of Ukraine. He writes, with Central European Jews closer to Italian non-Jews as the exception, not one of the 8 evaluated Jewish populations were closer to Levant populations. Interesting. Interesting little tidbit there. And in fact, I will share this link in case anybody wants to save this for your own edification. You can do so right there. All right. Next video comes from the BBC. Did an anti-migration documentary, again, regarding these various countries in Africa. You may have seen this clip. We're not going to watch it. This is a clip from a Congolese man talking to a Chinese man, discussing about their inability to develop their nations, talking about how the European man, through colonialism, came and built railroads in Africa before China even had that technology. And now China is coming to Africa, and they're so much more advanced than the African nations. It's like they've just stood still. And so this is a very interesting little section here of this conversation. We're not going to play it because it's not in English, and I'd have to read the whole thing to you. But this then comes from a video of an African woman talking about how she hates foreigners.
I hate foreigners. I hate foreigners, and the government is doing nothing. Tell you the truth.
Sounds a lot like the sentiment of American, Canadians, and Europeans. But of course, as the post here says, if you were to say that in the Western world, you'd be arrested, lose everything and be slandered for the rest of your life. But the BBC feels very comfortable in making a documentary about Africans being really upset with foreigners coming into their country and taking them over. Huh. Interesting little paradox there, is it not? Next one. This is just the beauty of India. I wanted to share with you guys. If you weren't aware, 83 of the world's 100 most polluted cities are all in India. And if you're not aware, in British Columbia in Canada, they actually had to post signs on the beach to stop Indian immigrants from defecating on the beach. Obviously, they have some sanitary problems in India, but this is just a little video. You don't need to hear it, but this is just them getting rid of their, their garbage. Naturally, what every first world country does is you just put it in the river. What else would you do with it? You just dump plastic bags, trash, just throw it in the river. Get in the river and swim in it. It's beautiful water. I mean, it looks like the Maldives over there. And so this was a video that I saw when I do my series on the dark sides of these other religions. I'm definitely going to be incorporating this part of Indian culture, but this was a little shocker for the Australians. They were having a conversation with an Indian woman, and she talks about infanticide, how she strangled 8 of her own children because they were born girls instead of a boy. She said, I would strangle the baby and I would then carry it and bury it here, since we are not having any male children. I killed 8 girl children.
This woman killed 8 of her children because of their gender, because they were girls, because she wanted a boy. And this is in India, but this is happening right now in Australia. An Edith Cowan study of 2.1 million births in Australia showed definitively that women from certain migrant backgrounds are aborting their children in Australia because of their gender, because they're girls. There's a huge debate raging right now about immigration, but one thing's for sure, if you come to Australia, you have to adopt Australian values, and Australian values have to be that boys and girls are equal and we don't kill girls just because they're girls. This year in New South Wales, we'll be fighting for these baby girls to live through the passage of John Ruddock's sex selective bill, which will just simply say that you can't kill a baby on the basis of their gender. Write to your MPs now to make sure that they know that you want them to vote for this bill.
It's ironic that there didn't have to be that legislation before the immigration. I wonder what was the difference. Why was it the Australians didn't have to need a law in the books to stop them from infanticide? I'm not sure. I can't really put my finger on it, but maybe you guys can help me. This is a video that was going viral of Canadian girls. This is like Canadian Gen Z girls and how they feel.
Like the Indians?
No! They literally come down into our beach down in Silver Lake and literally shit in the sand. We've had to have news reporters tell people not to shit in the sand, and they're all Indian. They all immigrate here illegally. Annoying. They work all the jobs here so people can't go get jobs in their own country, and it's hard to understand that. Like if you order food, all you need is this, all you need is this.
Would you date an Indian?
No. Never in my life.
Why not?
I thought we just went over this.
No, but not all of them are like that.
The tides be a-changin', as the saying goes. And here's a video that this guy has really kind of been hitting the algorithm over on X. His name, I wasn't familiar with him, Andrew Bronca. I've never watched a full show, but his clips are pretty interesting.
Here's a video of Indians in such classic third world behavior. They stroll up to a food bank in a $76,000 Lexus, and they just fill up their trunk with food. They're not starving. That's not the purpose of a food bank. But to a third worlder, this is like finding a bag of money unattended in the street. Of course they're going to pick it up. If they don't pick it up, someone else will pick it up first. This is classic third world behavior. This is why you can't have farm stands. They get looted by these people. They in their mind, there's no such thing as fraud in any moral conception. There's only acting in self-interest. They see a food bank, they see a farm stand, they loot it. Wouldn't surprise me if then they call up all their friends and all their friends go, and then the food bank gets wiped out. And that's bad because there are hungry and poor people who could use that food, who need it. But these third worlders can't think of outsiders that way. It's psychopathic. Outsiders don't actually exist. They may as well, the rest of the world that's not their immediate family or tribe, may as well be cardboard cutouts. They don't really exist unless they're serving the interest of the immediate family or tribe.
Here's a little something on
Indian
fraud.
So Vivek is the guy who wrote in his book, Woke Inc., extensively praising his own Indian Brahmin heritage, but also claims that the heritage of natural-born Americans is supposed to be valueless as an indication of genuine cultural citizenship, as opposed to technical citizenship. And this is the map of fraud, by the way, in India. Talk about differences in culture. So this is Stripe, the credit card payment processor. They did a study on fraud, as you might imagine. A lot of fraud around credit cards. They did a study on fraud. They have different categories. America, Europe, Canada, low rates of fraud. Not surprisingly, Mexico, South America, Eastern Europe, higher rates of fraud. For India, they literally had to come up with an infinity fraud category just for India. Is that an identical culture? Is that just a swappable widget of a human being?
I'll let you guys make your mind up. Next topic. Now we're going to get to the Maduro stuff. And here's what I want to say about the Maduro stuff is I know that there's been a lot of contentious opinions about it. Everything from, I saw Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly lament the fact that, this violates the liberal order of the post-World War II consensus, which is true. It does. I've seen multiple people discuss the fact that they didn't ask Congress for approval. Of course, Congress is incredibly low trustworthiness and support by the American people. And in turn, people have been saying that, oh no, Trump's a new dictator. And that's exactly where I am going to go, is that the problem is we've been playing by these rules as if our republic is still standing and everybody is participating in it equally. It's not. It's not happening. The American experiment is failing because of demographic changes. The values are no longer the same. There is no shared American identity. I mean, I can go through video. If you just go on X and start finding videos of immigrants that hate America, thousands of them. Thousands. And they feel so confident they post it on social media. And then you look at the comments and it's white liberal women and then other immigrants supporting them. Now, here's the point. We've been frustrated with the bureaucracy of the American government, unable to do anything. I've been frustrated with even people like Thomas Massie and Rand Paul criticizing the deportations, criticizing the actions of ICE. Now, unfortunately, there was an American woman that was shot the other day in Minnesota when she tried to run over an ICE agent who was asking her to stop and identify herself. She was a lesbian woman who left behind, I think, a 6-year-old or 8-year-old child and her wife, if you want to call it that. So Rand Paul and Matsy, I've been upset because it's like, what are we supposed to do? We have to go get congressional approval for every single thing, for doing things that we know need to be done. And that's where the entire structure of the 3 tiers of power of the American government, it's just not working anymore. The courts are fraud-ridden. I mean, look, how many cases do they let out gangbangers and criminals, murderers, rapists, and then they go out and do the exact same thing. Then they get bail and they go out and do our court systems don't work. The judicial side is not working. The legislative side isn't working. The only thing they want to pass is anti-Semitism bills or send more money to Ukraine or make sure they bolster the military-industrial complex. The only thing we have right now is the executive branch. And this is where, I get the problem of the U.S. government. I'm not in favor of the military-industrial complex. I would prefer nationalism. I would prefer a sort of neo-isolationism. But we do have the military-industrial complex. And Trump utilizing the military to essentially kidnap Maduro and his wife, it sends a message. It is what it is. And this is where, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Curtis Yarvin. And recently I shared on X, he actually attended an Orthodox church leading up to Christmas this year. So I don't know if he is becoming Orthodox. His wife is Orthodox. I don't know. I know that he's been a Jewish sort of right-wing thinker in Silicon Valley. And so he used to go by the name Mencius Moldbug. That was his pseudonym. And he talked about monarchy, a modified version of monarchy, led to unitary executive akin to a CEO or sovereign king. His theory, fundamental to the intellectual movement known as the Dark Enlightenment, argues that democracy is inherently dysfunctional. It is. Look at every democratic nation. And I've talked to you guys about how that's one of the 5 pillars of modernity. Rationalism, individualism, scientism, technological progress, and democracy. Those are the 5 pillars of modernity. That's why the Bush regime, we got to go take out Saddam Hussein so they can have democracy. We got to spread democracy. Well, why? Why democracy? Is it because democracy is such a dysfunctional political orientation that it allows the elites to actually control and manipulate it? We know that the 2020 election was fake. I mean, that's already been proven in Georgia. Didn't Trump lose like by 15,000 votes or something in Georgia? And this is on record. A court just validated that there was almost 400,000 votes that shouldn't have been counted. So we know that the 2020 election was rigged. And this is where this idea of a sort of neo-monarchy is coming back. What is the difference between America and Europe to China and Russia, to the Middle East? It's that their political leader doesn't have to continuously run for re-election every 4 years. I mean, technically, Putin runs, but now he is very much supported by the Russian people. But he is a sort of king, a sort of monarch. And from an Orthodox perspective, I mean, we don't hate monarchy. Now, monarchy under secular terms, under the values of the modern West, that'd be terrible. That'd be absolutely tyrannical hell. But a monarchy that's influenced by the Orthodox Church, that's something I think we should aspire towards. Some people might argue differently. I know it's not like a dogma of the church. You have to have a monarchical political orientation to be Orthodox. But I bring up Curtis Yarvin because he's been talking about the efficiency of monarchy. And the essence of his argument lies in the belief that a sovereign executive functioning like a corporate CEO can make swift, rational, and long-term decisions without the gridlock of competing democratic interests. He draws parallels between corporate governance and statecraft, proposing that government should operate like service providers, delivering efficient outcomes to citizens as customers. With leadership based on merit and appointment rather than elections, this model eliminates what he sees as the ideological conflicts and inefficiencies of democratic policies or politics, replacing them with centralized technocratic administration. Now, I'm not in favor of the technocracy that's coming. I know that that's going to be the prison that we're going to be living under. However, my point of all this is to bring a perspective on all this Maduro stuff, is that this truly is the ending of the liberal establishment post-World War II. That's what just happened here. Trump is now operating essentially in a way in which the executive branch has more and more authority. Now, that can go both ways. As I said, that can be incredibly tyrannical and negative for us. That can also mean that he can actually deport more people. He can actually get more things done. And this is where it's a double-edged sword. But this to me is the conversation here. It's not about, the U.S. and the oil companies going and getting the oil. Obviously, that's what Iraq is about. That and, setting the stage for the Greater Israel Project. The opium in Afghanistan. We know that's how the U.S. government has worked for years. However, the point here, and the point to really hold on to, is that the way the U.S. government is functioning is totally changing. Trump is operating as if the Congress doesn't even have power. And so, in a sense, they don't. And they're going to lose these midterm elections. You know, I hope that whatever the Republicans are, I hope that they keep, you know, the House and the Senate. At the midterms, I believe that they'll keep the Senate, and they'll probably lose the House. And the point that is happening here is he's setting the stage that the House doesn't matter. They're not doing anything anyways. The American people don't care about them. And if Trump does, again, using Curtis Yarvin's theory, act as a CEO, takes out Maduro, basically confiscates Venezuela, and they have massive gold, they have massive Bitcoin, they have tons of oils and rare minerals. It's an incredibly wealthy country if a first world nation had the technology to actually extract it. Well, it sounds like that's what the U.S. military and the U.S. government's about to do. And if that's the case and prices and living here in the United States goes down, the people here are going to be supportive. It just be, again, using Curtis Yarvin's theory here as that the executive branch should function as essentially a CEO of a capitalist company and return goods and services back to the people at more efficient rates. That's kind of what's happening right now. So I just want you to keep that perspective regarding the Maduro thing. You know, the debates about whether it was constitutional, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, that's where I saw Jesse Ventura. He was in Minneapolis, rambling about ICE and how it's un-American and Trump's just a rich baby and he's acting like an emperor and that he's violated the Constitution. Violated the Constitution? All these immigrants that are here violated the Constitution. All the fraud that's occurring violated the Constitution. The COVID shots violated the Constitution. What are you talking about? The Constitution has been violated over and over and over again. It no longer matters. It doesn't matter anymore. We're in totally a new age here in how the U.S. operates, and that's for good or for bad. We're going to get positive benefits from it. And it's also a bit scary because all these checks and balances that we've talked about, it really doesn't matter anymore. And so here is a video from this guy. He's a Venezuelan security guard for Maduro, warns against fighting Americans, describing the U.S. raid. And so I wanted to play this video because I thought it was insightful. This man claims to have talked with a security guard in Venezuela who survived the attack and describes that 20 men with superior tech, 20 Americans. Now, if you saw the video, they're all white men. I don't know if you guys saw that. I can pull it up. I'll see if I can pull it up here in a second while we're watching it. But the 20 men annihilated hundreds of people that were protecting Maduro. They disabled radar. They had superior tech. They downed drones. They killed hundreds unarmed. They fired 300 rounds per minute and used a sonic weapon, causing instant bleeding and incapacitation. Trump says, Mexico, you're on the list too. Don't fuck around and find out. America is not one to mess with. So this is him talking about what is supposedly this Venezuelan security guard said.
A security guard that was protecting Maduro has spoken, and you got to hear what he said. It's in Spanish, but I'll translate. Also, Trump announced that, the cartels, they're going after him in Mexico. The whole vibe of Latin America has changed because of what happened in Venezuela. And now that we're getting firsthand accounts from people that were there, the soldier says they didn't hear him coming. He says the Americans had technology superior to anything they've ever seen. Everything that they were using for radar, for anything, was completely taken offline. They had drones, and the drones were taking out bases and taking out things faster. They didn't have no technology. They've never had to fight against drones. He also talks about that there was only 8 helicopters. There was only 20 men that were sent in, and those 20 men killed hundreds of their men, and none of those soldiers were injured. He talks about it felt like they were firing 300 rounds a minute. Nothing they've ever seen, nothing that they can compete with. And then he also talks to the fact that the Americans had some kind of sonic shock boom that was sent out, and everybody immediately started bleeding profusely out of their nose. They couldn't even gather themselves because whatever was sent at them made them fall to their knees and vomit blood. out of their mouth and out of their noses. They were incapacitated immediately. He says he never wants to fear, never wants to go through that again. Doesn't want to have to fight with the Americans again. He's sending warnings to everybody out there that you think you can fight the Americans. You don't even know what their weaponry is like and what they're capable of. 20 men took out hundreds, and that's starting to spread all through Latin America. And now they're not saying, if you want me, come and get me anymore. They're like, oh shit. Especially after Trump says, hey, Mexico, you're on the list too.
So interesting stuff regarding all that. And here is the post that I was going to show you guys. This is Trump posing with the 20 men that kidnapped Maduro. Do you notice anything interesting about them? I believe this is at Mar-a-Lago. So look at Trump, just full smile, literally just kidnapped a world leader. I mean, again, the optics are crazy. You know, I have so many criticisms of Trump, but interesting stuff. You know, literally all the 20 guys that got the job done. That is hilarious. So anyways, serious stuff, but interesting nonetheless. So here is, U.S. seizes Venezuela-linked Russian-flagged oil ship. Now, this is where it gets a little bit crazy, is the U.S. literally confiscated a Russian ship. Now, that's what the whole thing is so interesting what's going on. We're talking about, Putin's home in Novgorod getting droned by the Ukrainians, the British, and what I'm hearing and what has been speculated by the CIA who helped. And then in that same week, there was a Russian ship that was trying to take its last boatload of oil out of Venezuela, and the U.S. confiscated it after they got Maduro. So I'm sure that is not. I don't know I don't know the fallout of this. I don't know if they let Russia keep the oil. I have no idea, but I certainly can't imagine that helping the peace deal. Here's Times of Israel: Maduro's fall and Israel's strategic opening. Now, why is that? Because in Israel, they were upset with Venezuela because Maduro was an ally of Tehran and Iran and allowed like Hezbollah. I think they sent money or weapons or whatever. They aided Iran in some way or another. And so that's why many people speculate that this happened on January 2nd when Netanyahu was in Florida, just met with Trump in Mar-a-Lago right before it happened, because this is a strategic thing for Israel. And of course, who do you think was the first person to congratulate Trump afterwards? I should have had this one up. I didn't even think about it. Now that I'm speaking, do you guys know who was one of the first people to congratulate Trump after getting Maduro publicly? Anybody know? Question for the chat. Nope. It was Nathan Rothschild. Interestingly enough, it was the Rothschild who was one of the first people to congratulate Trump after getting Maduro. Why? Because Venezuela is not part of the central banks of the Western world. Their currency was not controlled by London, New York, or Tel Aviv, Jerusalem. So interesting that Rothschild was one of the first people to congratulate Trump after the successful mission. Now, again, that's what I mean. This is a nuanced topic because, as I said, the political establishment of America, making sure that we go the speed limit and ask Congress for this or that, we've seen that goes nowhere. Nothing gets done. And the fact that Trump is doing, eventually expanding the powers of the executive office, it's a double-edged sword. It means that maybe we get more deportations. Maybe we get a lot of the things that we want domestically. Who knows? At the same time, it means that he can kind of do with what he wants. And that is also setting the stage for the executive branch to be used in the future. A lot of people are speculating that Gavin Newsom's going to be the next president after this term with Trump. if things keep going the way they are, Trump just won't leave office. Like seriously, I saw that there was some type of think tank that they did to already look at the legality of Trump running for a second term, because I guess there's a way to finagle it that it has to do with 2 consecutive terms, but because the first term he lost the 2020 election, Biden took office, that there may be a loophole in which he just runs again after these 4 years. So we're seeing these things already get set. And if that was the case, if we had 8 years of Trump utilizing the executive branch like he is, well, America's going to be something totally different. Now, remember, this is the 250th year of America this year. There's going to be a massive, massive celebration and parade on July 4th. It's already been said. I think the UFC has a whole fight schedule in the lawn of the White House. It's going to be ginormous. We have the World Cup. We have the Olympics in the United States. A lot of interesting things happening, okay? Now, the next thing I want to get to is where I think AI is absolutely hilarious. But before I do that, I want to catch up on some of the super chats. Let's see here. What was the last one? Byzantine Soldier says, St. Paisios predict Kurds will be independent in 2026. Well, we will see. Mr. Fist throws in 5, says 2026. Oh, no, we already saw that one. Mr. Fist says Israel is the gayest country on earth, and the fertile Orthodox exempt themselves from military service, so they are already struggling for soldiers. And then he talked about infinity fraud. Yes, that is the case with India. Varangos, POD throws in 10, says functional society requires clear lines of authority and responsibility. Democracy and government and bureaucracy, government and corporation, obscure and dilute these. Absolutely. Patriarchal structures like monarchy maximize both. Absolutely. And this is the world we're moving into right now, guys. Again, for better or for worse, because I am pro-monarchy when it's under the Orthodox Church. All I'm saying is the world we're moving into is basically monarchical power across the global elite. I mean, Netanyahu, we know that he finagles the democratic elections in Israel to maintain power. She doesn't have to worry about it. Putin doesn't have to worry about it. And now Trump, he's setting the stage that he doesn't have to worry about it. Again, it's good and bad. It's a both and. But yeah, you're spot on. Free Thinker Silver throws in 5, says the issue isn't that Trump disregarded liberal norms, it's that he's become a neocon. The message is, we'll run over you weaklings per arrogant. But that's not necessarily, I agree with you, but that's not, neocon is coming out of a specific ideology of Trotskyites who are leftist Jews who, upon the attacks by Egypt in the late 60s and 70s, realized that Israel's not going to be able to last without the support of America. And they then, with Bill Buckley and all these people, created the neoconservative movement. Now, when we talk about MIC, military industrial complex, and we talk about the transgressions or we're going to run over you weaklings, like, yeah, the problem is that's been oriented totally towards the needs of Israel. Now, as I've already highlighted, Israel had an interest in what happened in Venezuela. No doubt about that. But it's also setting the stage that America might be able to actually get shit done. And that's where the world, we already live in the world where we'll run over you weaklings. That's the world we already live in. Look at Gaza. Look at Gaza. Look around the world. Look at China. This is the world we live in now. The problem is America has been playing by a set of rules, at least publicly, been playing by a set of rules that the rest of the world is no longer playing by. I mean, how many times has the UN, condemned what's going on in Israel? And what has happened? How many times has there been an arrest warrant for Netanyahu in Europe? And yet he goes to Europe and nothing happens. So I get your point, free thinker. But I mean, the idea that we still live in a world that is run by these post-World War II liberal norms, that hasn't been the case for a minute. And it's definitely not the case now. So do we want to hamstring ourselves and play by rules that nobody else is playing by? I don't know. That's what I mean. It's a double-edged sword. It's both things. Octavian Says U.S. is Izzy's military and cash cow. Yeah, true. That's true. Mr. Fist throws in 5, says, you don't need congressional support when you're enacting the will of those who own the entire Congress, like 3 senators. That's true. No, that's true too. That's true too. HR Biggs throws in $2, says, who's going to run this town tonight? Yeah, exactly. Okay. So here's this AI. I don't know how much of audio I can play. I'm going to turn it on and off just because of the algo. I don't want the algo to catch me. But this is hilarious. This is a good use of AI, I would say, because the symbolism here is just so accurate. And this is Childish Gambino's "This Is America" song, redone by AI to make Childish Gambino Trump. So I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. If you haven't seen it, you're about to.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now.
You see, he's standing on Venezuelan oil. He's like, that's it. That's the case, right? We went there to go get the damn resources. Like we know what's going on here. Yeah, and we're probably those resources are going to Israel and the United States, and we're probably going to sell it. We know that. We know that. Like, we don't need to talk about the fact that Israel has incredible influence and runs the United States. We know that. We know that. That's already a given. Now let's move forward to what's next. But the visuals of this video is so on point, and it's so well done by AI. And it was done by Demon Flying Fox on Instagram. And did you see that? You see the chorus, the idea, the chorus, the choir. Who is it? Hegseth, Rubio, Melania, RFK Jr., JD Vance. But look how good the AI quality, it literally looks like these people. Like, you did this a year ago and you'd be able to easily tell it's AI. I mean, you can tell it's AI here, obviously, if you're familiar with what's going on, but the quality is much better. But you see, he's got his choir, the choir of people who constantly support everything he's doing. Come on, that is hilarious. That is such a good use of AI. That is such a good use of AI. Yeah, the water gun. I love the water gun. It's hilarious. This is hilarious, and it's both an actual critique, and it demonstrates also, it's just so funny. It's such a great way to critique power, and this is where AI is going to be. Again, God uses all things for. All evil he uses for good, and this is like a hopeful spot for how AI is going to be used in the future to actually criticize power. And wait, I got more. Like, I can't wait to show you the rest of these that I got. This is an interview of rapper 6ix9ine, but it's Trump. I'm gonna go through these guys. These make me laugh so hard. This is so funny. It says, that boy Trump, after he hit up Venezuela and mugged old boy Maduro.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit. And I stole it. Like, but niggas don't understand. I talk facts. Vlad, I talk facts.
Oh, you're right.
I
don't even deny it. That's cool.
Nigga, I talk facts. What deny? What, nigga? Give me that, nigga. I don't know what to do with that.
Okay.
You know when a nigga got a girl, her shit fat? Bro, you don't know what to do with that. Give me that.
Here's another one. You guys are gonna love this. This is another rapper doing some interview.
The shit jammed. I mean, or whatever it did, once it stopped, I spun the nigga around and I put the nigga in the full Nelson. The two niggas was over there that was down there, pulled out the hammer, and the nigga right here pulls out the hammer. I said, I'm dead. So I must have had the nigga so tight, the nigga swung his body to the side, and that's how my shit was open, and he hit me, boom, bah! The shit jammed.
Oh, here's another one. Here's another one.
I see like 3, 4 niggas running through the crib, all black, mask on, running through the crib and shit. One nigga run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the nigga. Bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow. All the niggas run out the door, they run out the door. This nigga on the floor. I see like 3, 4 niggas running through the crib, all black.
It's so good. It's so good. Here's one of Maduro in a cell with Diddy. There's so many memes I saw with Maduro and Diddy. It's like there was one with Diddy saying, did they get you for the oil? And Maduro's like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, they got me for that too. Meaning like Diddy's baby oil. It's so funny. Oh, I got more. Here's another one. And another one. And another one. There's so many of these. I don't like these as much. It's like the gay chick dancing. But this one's funny. This is another funny one. This is El Presidente, Trumpo.
Hola amigos, yo soy su nuevo presidente, el señor Donaldo J. Trumpo. Your ex-presidente, el señor Maduro, is no longer your presidente. He kept talking shit, and fucking around though, and he ultimately found out though. Anyway, we're gonna make Venezuela grande again. Mucho grande. El bigger y el better than ever before. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna have a big, beautiful fiesta, all the tacos you want. Mucho mariachi, sexy mamacitas, and delicious margaritas. And President Trump is gonna be el DJ, okay? Muchas gracias, muchachos. Y let's make el Venezuela grande again. Arriba el Venezuela, amigos.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Come on. I can't believe we got haters in the chat from the AI videos. Those are so funny. Those are so funny. I don't know what the problem is with you people. Those AI videos are hilarious. Here's something that's not so hilarious, but in a way hilarious. A Christian pastor Looks like Dracula himself. A Christian Zionist pastor claims that God told him all of Venezuela's oil rightfully belongs to the United States, not the forces of evil. He says God revealed that a world order was being orchestrated through the forces of darkness in Venezuela. This is my reset.
They say you have seized Venezuela for the oil. Yes, this is true, that there is that which has been brought to the forefront of this earthly battle. But the enemy has sought and was seeking to bring war and to bring conflict through Venezuela and to control the oil of the earth.
To control the oil of the earth.
But the spiritual oil and the natural oil does not belong to the forces of darkness or to those who thought that they could bring a one world order. This is my reset. And the oil of the natural and the oil of the spirit is mine, says the Lord.
Oh my gosh, you can't even be mad at it. I mean, these Zionists are so retarded. I mean, who watches that and thinks, wow, that guy is really being touched by the Holy Spirit. My gosh. What? Preach it, pastor. Oh my gosh. Yeah, pre-less maxing for sure. For sure. Boomers think this slaps. Oh gosh. Oh no, that's not AI. This is not AI. Actually, if you go to the comments, somebody asked Grok, I forget, maybe it was a different post, but somebody asked Grok, is this video AI? It's not. It's actually real. Oh my gosh. That is my oil, says the Lord. Oh gosh. All right. Next one. Now this is where the AI is getting a bit creepy. I actually don't know how I feel about this. So we're going to get into some of the Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens stuff, and as I told you guys earlier, both things can be true. I feel like Candace Owens, and I got a video that's going back and forth on some of her stuff right here, and it highlights how, she says one thing and then does, changes the story or changes the narrative later. Now, I don't know her heart. Maybe she's sincere. Maybe she's really going after this stuff. Maybe she's just emotionally wrecked and she's not seeing clearly. I don't know exactly. Okay, I don't exactly know what's going on with Candace Owens. But because of the theories that she's putting forth, there's been a lot of animosity towards Erica Kirk that I don't know is entirely justified. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to show you here regarding this. So I want to play this AI video of Charlie Kirk coming back from the dead, which, again, I don't exactly know how to take. But what's happened, this was being shared today. It was kind of going viral. It still may be being shared. It's about 600,000 views as of now. But a 10-year-old documentary about EMP attacks surfaced that stars Erica Kirk in it. Now, obviously, it is known that her mother worked for the DOD. And this whole fort, Hakucha? I forget. The fort in Arizona. I have to see the name. I'm forgetting the name right now. It's like, I got something on it right here. Yeah. Hachuka. Fort Hachuka. It actually trains drone operators, and so this is part of this video that's come out. This is actually the older or a newer one, and it shows Erica Kirk before she was with Charlie Kirk. And it's resurfaced from a 2020 interview clip. Erica Kirk casually drops that her family relocated to Arizona because her mom, Lori, was diving deep into DOD work. She specifically name drops GTEC as part of her mom's ventures, securing government contracts with Homeland Security for network security, risk assessment, and EMP protection. But here's the explosive context. Lori, her mother, is CEO of E3 Tech Group, which absorbed and spun from G-Tech, the Arizona Tech International, a firm with heavy DoD and DHS ties. These companies specialize in military tech, think secure networks, intel ops, and even drone-related systems, and the smoking gun direct connections to Fort Huachuca. Now, this is the thing. Yes, we know that there was some weird stuff with like her Romanian foundation, the Everyday Heroes Foundation, where all these Romanian orphans were lost. But this is my problem with all this stuff. It doesn't actually have anything to do with Charlie Kirk. Right, so this was going all over the place today about, again, related to this post about her mother tied with the DOD, this post with her surfacing in the CIA video talking about national security and with energy specialists and EMP. Okay, so her mother working with DOD, DHS, they're a military family. Okay, she won like Miss Arizona. Okay. It's still possible that she loved Charlie Kirk and it was a real relationship. They got married and she has no involvement whatsoever with this assassination attempt, because that's where a lot of this narrative is going. That's where even Candace Owens was acting like, oh, I'm not blaming Erica. I'm not blaming Erica. Of course, they recently had a private convo, but in a way she kind of was. Now, if it's true, it's true. I'm just interested in the facts. We do know that the FBI is covering this whole thing up. We know that, again, Tyler Robinson, just think about this. They have a video of the supposed gunman jumping off the roof and climbing down. Remember, with the gun, it's in pieces in his backpack, but the barrel's in his leg, and he's walking through the neighborhood. Well, if you have the video of him on the roof, show the whole damn video. Where is he first come into frame? Is he in frame where you can actually see where he's laying down? There's multiple people online talking about how they went to that exact site where that camera is, and it is exactly where the feds are telling us the guy was laying and took the shot. Well, if that's the case, then show us the video of him shooting. But they don't. Obviously, the 30-06 claim of the bullet that went through his neck, that just doesn't make sense. I'm not even a super gun aficionado, but I do like guns. I do shoot guns with my buddies. And have you ever shot a 30-06? That bullet does not just go into the neck and stop. So there's really weird stuff going on with the Charlie Kirk assassination. Obviously, the Israeli ties, Tucker's brought that up. I don't know what's going on. Kash Patel seems to be totally incompetent or covering up what's actually going on. We don't know. So that is something we do know, that whatever the FBI and the government is telling us is not the full story. However, everything that Candace is saying are just like showing little things. Oh, look at the Egyptian planes. Okay. Draw me a direct connection back to the Charlie Kirk stuff. Like, I'm struggling with all the stuff she's talking about. Because, and same thing with all the Erica Kirk thing. Okay, her mom worked for the DOD. They're part of a government family. That doesn't mean she killed her husband. What? I saw things recently going around about how fast the children age, and I don't know if this is real or not. That's where it's like, I wish somebody could actually grab concrete data here. That there's photos that claim that their 3-month-old baby now looks like a 3-year-old within like a year and a half time span. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. I've looked into it. It's really hard to come to conclusive facts that lead to the conclusion that people are putting forth. I'm just not seeing it on average, most of the stuff. And that's true with what this was going viral today. That was true with this post going viral today. And that's where I kind of feel weird about how AI is being utilized regarding Erica and Charlie Kirk, because just like we saw the AI make videos of Trump that are absolutely hilarious. The Childish Gambino video is just a spectacular critique of everything that's going on. It's visceral. You don't have to be an intellectual to get it. It goes, but here's a video that it was going viral. This particular post wasn't, but this I Can't Even production, this video was going viral all across X. And so I'm going to play it for you, but I don't even know how to feel. I feel conflicted by it.
What are you doing here?
Back from the dead.
You see what's going on here? So Charlie's back from the dead. He walks into this cafeteria with all the, the arch enemies of humanity. Epstein. This is Erica sitting down with Ghislaine Maxwell. Again, clearly an Allah or some type of connection back to the Romanian orphanage and anything that happened going on there. And if all this stuff is false about Erica and his assassination and some of the stuff that Candace is putting forth, I feel terrible for her. Now, if it's real, it's real. But if it's not, like that, I feel terrible that this stuff is going viral and it's your ex-husband or, widowed husband, publicly assassinated. And the AI video is him walking up to you, insinuating that you're in league with basically all these evil people. And you ask him, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he says, "I'm back from the dead." It gives me a weird feeling, right? That's where this AI video stuff, that gives me a weird feeling. But you can see how it's being used on both sides here. And so now I want to get to where's the Candace Owens video? Here we go. Now let's watch this little clip of Candace Owens, which I think is really interesting.
His burial. How come we haven't seen anything about his burial? We saw so much and then we saw nothing. And the reason that's like a big hush-hush secret is because Charlie had a Catholic funeral mass and he is buried in a Catholic cemetery.
But pre the meeting with Erica, you repeatedly questioned why we weren't being told where Charlie Kirk is buried, or even if he has been buried yet. Did you get those answers?
You have the wrong commentator who questioned that. I think that was Milo Yiannopoulos.
You've never asked where Charlie's buried?
Nope. But if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk, yes.
It's just, I don't even know how to respond to it because it just never happened. Realizing that nothing in Charlie's life was real. It's just something that keeps me up at night. Just nothing in his life was real. The assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of. It's so crazy.
She has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him if he died.
Never happened. And it just so happened that Charlie Kirk kept notebooks and diaries. He was so diligent that he wrote down his succession plan featuring who he wanted to take over for the organization in the event of his untimely death. Like, he just, in the third notebook, he was like, oh, and if I accidentally get shot on campus, here's what you should do. Call Erica. And then after you call Erica, come find this notebook. And if during this process of our imagination, common sense comes on and we're like, but wait, Charlie, wasn't he like a boy genius? He's a pretty bright kid. Wouldn't he have maybe formalized that succession plan outside of like a diary? But no, he wanted to put it in these notebooks. And then the plan was to guilt us, I think, to try to haunt us with the ghost of Charlie's notebooks that we're never going to be allowed to read, but we're supposed to accept that they most definitely read. Like, for sure. Never happened. I knew it was big. I didn't have the players. I certainly didn't suspect Turning Point USA would be as I believe, involved in a cover-up. And we can talk about what the motives are of that. They could be financial motives. It doesn't necessarily mean they were involved in plotting to kill him. And I've never said that. Cam Higbee is on the payroll of Turning Point USA beginning in August of this year. So in theory, Cam Higbee, who was laughing off the idea of an assassination attempt, is being paid by the very organization that just had its leader assassinated in broad daylight in front of the entire world. It doesn't necessarily mean they were involved in plotting to kill him. And I've never said that. I was in this aggrieved stage, and I really didn't poke my head up until weeks later when I could stop crying about it every second. Charlie Kirk, my friend, is dead. First, this is fantastic that Preborn is doing this. I just want to remind you guys about Pure Talk. Also reminding you guys about American financing. Also reminding you guys about GNO Land. Also telling you guys about Just Thrive. You can head over to our website, CandaceOwens.com. You can sign up, buy yourself a hat. I'm not going to stop unless Erica Kirk asks me to stop.
We were told that if we said stop, it would stop. And we said stop. And I'll say it again. Please stop.
Please stop. Please stop lying. But as soon as she tells me what it is I've lied about, I will cease lying immediately.
So I'm not going to sort of dwell on this topic here, but there's something very strange going on, and I think my point of bringing up the AI video is to show you that makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. Now, if Candace is actually onto something, I'd love to see the evidence, but so far I have not seen the evidence for the majority of what she said. They're interesting little tidbits. The Egyptian planes, maybe they are tied with the Israeli government. They're keeping tracks on Erica and Charlie and their whereabouts and all his public events. That's what she claimed. Maybe that's the case. If it is the case, I'd love to see it. But because of all this theory, and really, whose fault for all of this? It's the FBI. It's the federal government. They could put so much of this down if they just told us the facts that they know, which they refuse to do. And that's what allows. So if, that's where the Kash Patel or whoever it may be, Dan Bongino talking about Candace Owens and how she's hurting Erica. Well, then Kash Patel release the information, make it public, and then people will be forced to stop making up lies that aren't true if we know the actual facts, but they don't. They don't. So who's at fault? I blame the FBI. I blame the federal government and the investigators. Now, they claim it's to preserve the integrity of the investigation, but we'll see. Here's a little video regarding all the Somali fraud. Seattle mayor, who is like some 36-year-old woman who never had a job until just now being elected mayor, asked about if she's going to investigate any of the fraud. Hesitation, just flat no.
I think the fear in the Somali community is real. The fear in immigrant communities are real, so we're taking that very seriously.
Along those lines, have you asked anyone to follow up on the fraud claims either to the Department of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs or SPD?
No.
Isn't that, it's such the typical white lib response, like the raising of the eyebrows? No. No. Look at it. No.
Department of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs or SPD?
No.
Massive fraud being uncovered, but she has no interest in it. Here's one of these doctors and engineers right now. Actually, he may just own a daycare center. I'm not sure.
We heard them being called terrorists. We heard them being called drug dealers. We heard a lot of insults. We heard that they're a threat to our national security. And that's a flat-out lie. You want to know who the real threat is, Madam President? I'll give you a hint. They don't look like our chief author. They don't look like the folks up in the gallery. They don't look like the folks on the rotunda. They look like many of the members that sit in the front. And you don't have to take my word for it. According to DHS, Madam President, the greatest domestic threat facing the United States comes from, quote, racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race, not our immigrants. We are safer and we're better off because of them.
This is the guy, Omar Feta, who tried to run for mayor against Jacob Frey, the Jewish guy that won mayor of Minneapolis. Both of them just radical leftists. But yeah, this guy lost running for mayor of Minneapolis, blaming white men as the biggest threat. Now, this chick right here, you got to see this. This Somali chick essentially threatened Elon Musk in this video here.
Yeah, mas gabas ka for.
When people say like this is fake, I'm like, actually, well, let's look at.
Kan muxuu haystaa lacag bis u haystaa baduu fool xun yahay iska fool xun yahay kan waa duq uu dhiman rabaa. I wouldn't worry too much about this one. That albaabkiisa jooga. I wouldn't worry too much about him. He about to die.
So she said he about to die. What she was playing was a video of Elon Musk and him vocalizing the criticism of all the Somali fraud that is being uncovered. And then you can see his subtweet here. Then it is war. That's right. You know, in that regards, hey, I'm all for it in regards to Elon Musk. Go to war with these people. He has the funds. He's the wealthiest man in the world. Last I saw was over $700 billion. He's almost at $1 trillion. Expected to be at $1 trillion in the next 5 years. $1 trillion, guys. $1 trillion. So I'm all for it. But here is her response because she got upset that people were criticizing her for it. This was her response video.
My name and Elon Musk's name voiced in the same breath, I wouldn't believe you.
That is so it's really hard to hear because she's speaking so quiet. I can't believe that my name and Elon Musk's name are being said in the same breath. I didn't.
But here I am today. Hello, if you know who I am, do you know why this video has to be made? On December 31st, 2025, my life took a tragic turn. I was badly misread and misheard on a now viral clip. In this clip, my word.
She said she was misheard. No, you weren't misheard. And the people that know Somali had translated some of that stuff. You weren't misheard at all. This is exactly why they need to go back. The only option is remigration. We don't need you here. We do not need more Somalis. We don't need any Somalis to thrive. Go back to Somalia. It's time. I'm sick of it. It's like she is upset because she this is the same person. She has like a large following. Criticizing white men, mocking Americans because of they're being upset about all this fraud being discovered. And then tells, you don't need to worry about Elon Musk. I mean, acting like some, ghetto chick. And then he responds, says, then it's war. And now she has to put out a video. I was misunderstood. No, you weren't. No, you weren't at all.
Being translated to has been taken greatly out of context.
Greatly out of context.
Clear. I never intended or even aimed to threaten the life of Elon Musk. I'm not a person that carries around hate. The media and Elon have taken my words completely out of context, and it's been deeply hurtful to watch how that's turned into me being dehumanized and painted as a villain for context.
It's so fake. It's so fake. I'm glad she feels uncomfortable now. I'm glad. Yeah, she's piety signaling so hard. And I was totally taken out of context. I never, ever would ever promote violence. That's literally what you said in the video. That's literally what she said in the video. She's married to a 70-year-old incest monster. What? What are you? I have no idea about any of that. No idea. If that's the case, wow. Wow.
Was taken from a longer life segment and edited in a way that removes the heart of what I was trying to say. During that stream, some of my supporters asked me about my thoughts on Elon Musk in relation to his health after viral photos of him in swim shorts surfaced.
It had nothing to do with him and a viral video of him in swim shorts. And plus, that photo is like super old. That's where he's like on the back of the boat in the Mediterranean. And what? No, this chick literally said that, insinuated that Somalians would kill Elon Musk because of he was popularizing by sharing Nick Shirley's videos, who uncovered a lot of this stuff, or at least the initial video that went viral. People had known about this for a while now, but Nick Shirley went viral. Elon Musk shared it, made it go, epically viral. And she literally said that, insinuated that you don't have to worry about Elon Musk. He's going to die soon. Or whatever. I have no idea if that's some type of African code or what that means, but no, that's what she literally said. So this is so phony, like the acting, the fake apology, acting like she's the victim. My life took a tragic turn when people misunderstood a post online about a comment I made of Elon Musk. No. It's just indicative of what we're seeing all across the West with Muslims in general. Here's an example.
I'm just having you on my palace of paper and say what these people act like. That's all. Go,
I don't care. You insult my prophet. And you insult my prophet. You insult my prophet. You are executed. You are executed. You get this when you execute the prophet. And I don't take that. I don't apologize for that. You're disgracing the honor of our prophet. You get deep.
So here's a Muslim man. If you actually identify the fact that Muhammad was a pedophile warlord who married Aisha at the age of 6 and consummated that marriage at the age of 9, according to Islamic tradition, this is why they still allow child brides. If you highlight that fact, the Muslims say that they are ready to kill you. Interesting. Here's another video. This is a mom warns British patriots, submit yourselves to Allah, you will not win, Islam will rule in UK.
I've been told that they are planning to come to Wakefield on the weekend, but I highly doubt that they will come. You see that these protests that they're doing, they're in localities where the numbers of the mu'mineen are very little. Down south, Middlesbrough, very small number of mu'mineen. Have they not read into the history of the Battle of Badr? How we were only 313 in number? But that 313 defeated an army of 1,000 simply because of their unwavering faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all we can do is we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides these individuals towards the path of Islam. You've seen some of their own members denounce them, completely going against what they are teaching and saying that, look, I used to be part of them, but I don't stand with them anymore because I realize that they are too extreme in their beliefs. And as much as they want to destroy Islam and eradicate Islam, Islam is here to stay. And it is here to stay till the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah because that is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the reason why Islam is the quickest growing religion wherever you go in this world. No matter how much you try to destroy Islam. They tried it 1400 years ago with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They failed then. People have tried throughout history. They failed then. People are trying right now. They are currently failing. They will try all the way to the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, and they will continue to fail simply because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that He will be the one to protect the religion of Islam, even if there is nobody else left to protect.
You know what my immediate response to this is when I hear it? It's the clip from the movie 300. Spartans! What is your profession? Who? That's what we need, guys. That's exactly what we need. Again, Islam is so pathetic. It depends upon the Western world and Russia and China not to destroy it. They cannot defend themselves. They have no shot long term. The only shot that they have is by allowing the globalists to send them to all these nations, the people being weak in regards to their culture, and they're able to form enclaves and then build the societies they want. Next one. Here's a clip from Nick Shirley in Dearborn, Michigan from a month ago, or a little month and a half ago.
People out here are just driving around and they're hearing what's happening as they attempt to burn the Quran and people are freaking out.
This is in Dearborn, Michigan, guys, and this is all because a Christian guy burned a Quran in America. In America.
You are just pulling over. Come on, Ollie. Why would I get here? Why? I haven't done anything. They got word out that they tried to burn the Quran, and you're getting heated. You're just pulling over. You're hopping out of the car. You're ready to brawl with anybody.
I was gonna blast if I didn't see the cops. I swear to God. That's it. I don't care. To me, I don't care in my life. I don't give a let somebody blast me. I don't give a
just because of the burning of the Quran, the attempted burning.
That motherfucker's life up and his family. That's it. It's on camera. I will that motherfucker's life up. Let him come to me face on face. Face to face, I'll kill him. On my mother's soul. So that's it.
You're killing.
I'll kill him. Murder. Arrest him. Do your job.
Yeah, the clip, if you see the full clip, it continues. He talks about the guy in the white man in the van. He's like, did you know that he said he has a gun and he was going to kill you? And he's like, yeah, I know. That's what these people do. And nobody's stopping. And this is like a multi-generational Michigan from Dearborn. So this is in America, just FYI. This is a good video of, people, this guy, he's gone viral criticizing some of the aspects of the African-American community. He's an African-American.
Your husband was about to get in a scuffle here in the middle of the street. That's good. You guys deserve it. Get the out of our... Now we're going to come to your guys' city and do this. Same thing. I saw you about to throw down here in the middle of the street.
Hey, man, listen. These people hate our country. They hate everything we stand for. We have to oppose them everywhere they go, all right? Black or white. If you're a Christian in this country, these people hate your way of life. They oppose your existence. We can no longer allow this. They come over here with their Ford Fusions. Go back to your country, all right? Go back to Somalia. Go back.
You think any of this is fear-mongering from the right?
No, it's necessary. It's not fear-mongering. We need to do this because we're looking at what's happening across the pond in Europe, in Berlin, and France, all over, in London. Do we want to be like that? No. And black people, guess what? This country that you live in, you benefit from it. You should stand with your Christian brothers. Stand with our white brothers and sisters. This is our country that we've built together. We lose it, we have nothing. We lose this land, there's nothing else. You're not going to go to Africa and survive. You're not going to go to the Middle East and survive. Guess what? America was built by Christians. White people conquered the land. Black people benefit from it. We have to stand up for it. That's important.
Jeez, so fight broken out. They're throwing iPhones.
And that's the facts. White people built the country, and African Americans benefit from America. I mean, African Americans, it's in a sense providential that they came here. Now, chattel slavery, I talked about this in my video. Chattel slavery is terrible, but the fact that they're here, they're part of the fabric of America. Okay. I'd rather have African Americans double their population and all the immigrants go back home. I think every American probably feel that way. It's not about a racial thing. It's about the history of American culture, and we can form some type of an American culture with our black brothers and sisters that have been here, but not with Muslims, not with Somalians, not with Hindus. And that's just a fact. That is just a fact. So anyways, guys, that is basically everything that I had to present today. And we hit the goal. Oh my gosh. Let me go through some of the super chats real quick. Let's see here. Prosperity Oil Gospel. Missed a fist. Throws in 5. True. JB Peltier says evil. True. XX Lockstep throws in 10, says supposedly a guy was able to figure out that Tyler Robinson's first, middle, and last name was searched out of a country that just happens to be of the biggest FBI headquarters in the country. Yeah, it was in Israel. I believe it was like in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, which is very strange and interesting. JB throws in 5, says, I'm bummed that she clearly has no one in her corner to tell her to reel it in when she's spiraling. Well, I mean, her community promotes it. Lockstep throws in 5, says, I forgot to add, Robinson appeared to have been searched by the FBI prior to the assassination. That's an important part. Yeah, and he was in a gifted program at one of the universities in Utah that was tied with some type of federal agency. I forget what it was. But the intelligence agencies clearly knew of him ahead of time. Mr. Fist throws in 5. Can we please stop putting women in charge? Facts. Mr. Fist, the Somalian rocket scientist looks like my profile pic. JB throws in 10, says, I've noticed a weird homogenizing of females on TikTok. They all have this Jekyll Hyde thing where one moment they're ghetto and obnoxious and the next they're crying regardless of race. Yeah, that's true. Abject Fool throws in 10. No comment. Thank you very much, Abject Fool. Mr. Fista says, you want donkey pull cart society? Apparently they do. Mr. Fista then sends in super chats to hit the goal. Thank you so much, Mr. Fista. Mr. Briggs says, Ayo, what the F? Kristen says, goal. And Octavian throws in 2, says, how about a deep dive on Vlad the Third? I'm open to that. Give me some topics, guys. We got to do this quick. I got to go meet my family. Give me some topics for a potential stream, and I'm going to create a poll right now. Give me some topics, and I'm going to create a poll. What we got? A donkey pull cart society. I'm adding topics to the poll. Start a poll. Stream topic. First one is Vlad. Tsar Nicholas. That's a good one. Intro to Orthodoxy. Tartaria. I could do the Tartaria conspiracy. The Scythians. Deep dive on goats. My culture doesn't deep dive into goats. So I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, fellas. Early church worship. I could do that. You guys got to give me some more topics. Why Habibi? Orthodox view of Genesis. Let's see. There's 2 people that said Tartaria. I think Tartaria is a good one. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings wouldn't be a bad one. Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin. Okay. Symbolism of Orthodox architecture. That's a good one. Okay, we got 4. I'll add one more. One more. I won't. It's only 4 topics. So right now it's Vlad, Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin, Tartaria, symbolism of Orthodox architecture. Okay, here goes the poll. You guys decide what the sponsored stream's on. Okay, Tsar Nicholas Rasputin is definitely... I'm going to give it a couple minutes. We got to get up to at least 50 votes here. 29 votes. Come on, people, vote. Tell me what topic you like. Looks like Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin's going to win. We got 46 votes, 47, 49. Okay, 50 votes. I think it's pretty much done now. I think it's going to be Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin. Bone smashing. Yeah. You guys want me to do a stream on looks maxing? Yeah, I think it's definitely Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin. All right, let me write it down. That's the topic. That's the topic. I'll put a stream together on it. Okay. All right. Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin it is, fellas. How to use meth to contour your face. A leering center stream. I don't know if you're leering enough to understand it, Dr. Crispy. Tatari is so dated. Yeah. All right. Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin it is, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for helping me reach my goal. I will reward you with a stream on Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin. I will need a full day to do research on that. I need to first... I got 2 streams I need to do before it. Friday, don't forget, is with Predictive History with Professor Jiang. And then I'll get into this one, and then I have some other sponsored streams I need to do. I think I have 3 sponsored streams right now. So, cool. Cool, guys. Very nice. All right, Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin it is. A stream of how not to be. Why are you gay? But why are you so gay? All right, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for the support. Let me just double check. Make sure I didn't miss anything over on Dono Chat. Miss anything on Streamlabs. Major thank you to Victor Z over on Streamlabs. Thank you very much for that support. All right, guys. That does it. Tsar Nicholas and Rasputin it is. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I wish you and your family nothing but the absolute best. So God bless you all. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. And I will see you guys next week. As always, until then, God bless.